a neon soul in the dark moonlight.
Whenever you call my name, and he'll never, never know. Baby, won't you hold me? Oh, anybody. Whenever you call my name, and he'll never, never know. I need you, oh, please.
What a day. What a day. It is Tuesday. And I want you guys all to know I don't even know if are we going to do some April Fool's stuff today, Apollo? We are? Probably have a little bit of that. But today we're also I'm going to say happy April's Fools the day before all the tariffs kick in. I wonder what's going to really happen with that. It'll be interesting to see how that actually goes. We're going to talk about some pretty crazy stuff. I feel like we're always talking about elections. Every time I turn around, well, let's talk about elections again. Oh, wait, hold on. We're talking about elections. 5 years in, we're talking about elections. But we're going to talk about it. It is a hot topic. It's a hot topic, and we know for a fact, we absolutely know that the elections are stolen in this country. We know for a fact that they're not only stolen, but that they know that they're stolen. Can we get this blue light out above my head? It's putting this little dot on my bed. You turn it off from in there or no? Dog. So Elon Musk and Antonio Gracias announcing that millions of illegal immigrants let into the United States during the Biden administration have received Social Security numbers without even gaining citizenship or going through an interview. So part of that is true, part of it's not true. You have the ability to get issued what's called an EIN, employee identification number. It's a way that you can actually track dollars and get paid taxes. I don't think they understand the concept behind or why there's a difference between the two, but there is. But beyond that, besides that, there's some other things that we're going to talk about that go back, and I think that what they're saying is they're surmising that that's what's happening. That the Biden administration wanted to use this as a tool to get citizenship so that they could become blue. Well, it's actually much more sinister than that. We talked about it 3 years ago, and so we had an interview with Raul, and we had an interview with Raul. Raul is from Romania. And we were told specifically about how the CIA was involved in stealing people's identities, creating false identities, then importing that into the United States. We even called, Apollo, do you remember this? We called the people that were on the list and had conversations with some of them. Do you live in, where do you live? Do you live in Virginia, let's say? And he goes, no, I live in Tennessee, and I voted here, and yet he was registered and voted in Virginia. So we walked through this entire deal. That's why I say we've forgotten more about the evidence of fraud than you could even conceive of. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And then we're going to have Mark Cook on. Mark Cook is an expert. And he's going to talk about and weigh in on one of the oldest election fraud organizations and talk about Scott Pressler. I also want to know what he thinks of Elon Musk and Antonio Garcia's statements. Here's the problem: is that you have a lot of people that are in this that are at a very high level, and Elon Musk is at a very high level, and so they think that they've got it figured out, but don't understand the substructure of Social Security numbers and EINs. And I'm sorry, but that's the reality. Much like they think that it's all about bringing illegals here in order to have them vote blue. Most of the people that come here that are immigrants, outside of the obvious, or whatever you want to call it, group of thugs, are relatively conservative. So sooner or later, there's an attrition rate that would not be good for the Democrats. But maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. But at the end of the day, we got to get down to why is it that we keep debating the ridiculous? Why are we having conversations about the ridiculous? We know it's ridiculous. And so we're going to talk through that and much more today on Untamed. So stay tuned. Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people. Oh, hot dog, look at you. And nobody talked about what's really happening. And let's have conversations about what truth is. So I'm going to talk a lot about elections today, but before I do that, if you're a parent, if you're a grandparent, I want to bring this up. I put this up before. They just don't care about the unconstitutional nature of a bill. When states have been fully captured like they have in Colorado and California and other places, the people become the subjects, they become the slaves. And nobody wants to talk about that. I mean, everybody wants to talk about education standards and from a position of academia, but they don't have, we overvalue these ideas of these certifications of, I went to Harvard. So let me ask you a question. So if you go to a state school, are your books lighter? Do they have less information in them? Are somehow the professor's going to enlighten you more if you go to a Harvard over? No, it's a fraternity. And no greater part could be said about that fraternity than Judge Boasberg, who happened to be really good friends and cozy with John Roberts, who got assigned to the FISA court from there and was a bunkie of Kavanaugh in college. They built a fraternity. They built a fraternity that is so large and so significant that they have enslaved most of America. But when you have a bill that is so fundamentally unconstitutional, kind of like saying that President Trump can't be on the ballot in Colorado, only to be overruled 9-0 from the Supreme Court. 9-0. 9-0. I just want to, again, Democrat, Republican, 9-0. Like we have captured states in our country that are captured by really evil, demonic people. So this is the bill. Colorado put this bill up, and when we talk about the consequences of flawed or stolen elections, because ultimately, guys, for the 4 years I've been very consistent over this. I've been very consistent over what's really happening, and I'm unapologetic for it. I was on the phone with a lawyer that's a part of one of the lawsuits that clown Eric Coomer is running, and I'm having a conversation with them, and they're grilling me on some stuff, and I was like, yeah, I don't actually care. It's all fraud. These are all fraudulent people, and what they did is fraudulent. And I laid it all out for him, and he's like, yeah, this is unbelievable. How is it that this has gotten this far? And I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. And I'm firing over information that he doesn't have. And so they've gaslit everything, and now you have them trying to pass laws that nobody believes are legitimate, and people in Colorado are suffering immensely. I mean, let me go here for a minute. Ready? I'm going to go here for a minute. The average time it takes for a police officer to respond in the city and county of Denver is 19 minutes. 19 minutes. I had a young lady who was beaten by an illegal, and I got a phone call from the father who said, Joe, I need your help. And so I made some phone calls for him. And I was like, listen, before you go off and do something stupid, and because I am involved with lots of people that I do a lot of good when I'm not on this podcast or doing stuff for my business. And I said, listen, first thing you need to do, I'll make some phone calls. So I did. I said, but you have to report the abuse, the beatings to, and they have a young baby, a grandbaby, a 3-month-old. And they took pictures, sent me the pictures, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, I'd call the police. So the police says, oh, no, you have to be here. So you had to, they had to go to the apartment complex, which is infested with illegals, infested with drugs and illegals. It's been taken over. And he's sending me these messages going, Joe, it's unbelievable here. And so it took the police 2 hours to show up. Just under 2 hours, hour and 58 minutes or something. Literally almost 2 hours. And after an hour and a half in, I was like, keep calling them. And they're like, I am. I said, no. Call them, hang up the phone, call them again, hang up the phone, call them again, hang up the phone, call them again, hang up the phone. Keep calling them. 2 hours. They finally did show up. They arrested the illegal for illegal gun possession. He's here illegally. Assault. I mean, a whole bunch of things. But while the police are in there, they allowed 2 drug dealers to sit in a room with this young girl. And we look at this as normal people. I don't blame the police officers. I mean, they're in an untenable situation. They're in a communist society that favors evil. And so they finally do arrest him after, an hour and a half. But she had to sit in the room with two people that she knew. One, she knew that she was a drug dealer. And the other one, I don't even know they're gang members. They're all gang members. I don't know the circumstances behind it. I don't want to supposed to know what his daughter did or did not know or do or anything else, but she cried for help. And he came from Texas up here to make sure he could take her away. For 2 hours. So 2 hours, they had to sit in front of the apartment waiting for the police to show up. Well, at the same time, they want to pass this law to take away the ability for people to have gun rights. They've already made it nearly impossible to have a concealed carry in this state. They've eliminated areas where gang members and criminals hang out that say that but you're not allowed to go into those areas with a gun. You can't come in here and you can't self-defend. There's no such thing as self-defense. Now this bill and then we'll bring Mark Cook on because I know he's lurking in the background listening to what I'm having to say, and he's from Colorado, so he can attest to what I'm about to say. They put this bill up. It's called HB 25-1312, undermines parental rights and family and autonomy. The courts could deem dead naming and misgendering as threats to gender-affirming care, effectively shifting decision-making power from parents to the state. Bill infringes on free speech and individual conscious beliefs by classifying certain language actions, like using a child's birth name or pronouns align with their biological sex, as coercive. Thus, a parent who believes biological sex could guide their child's upbringing might face legal repercussions for what they see as exercising their right to raise their child according to their values. HB 25-1312 also bars Colorado courts from enforcing out-of-state laws allowing child removal due to gender-affirming care. So let me tell you what the bill actually says. That's what I put up on my deal on X. And the person that I'm sharing this tweet for, I don't particularly like her at all. But let's talk about the bill itself. Section 1 of the bill creates the Kelly-Loving Act. Section 2 provides that when making child custody decisions and determining the best interest of the child for purpose of parenting time, court shall consider dead naming, misgendering, or threatening to publish materials related to an individual's gender-affirming health care serves as a type of coercive control. Section 4 says that, whoops, I missed Section 3. Yep, Section 3 is not in there. We'll go to Section 4, it's fine. Section 4 says that it provides that if a local education provider or an educator or contractor chooses to enact or enforce a policy related to choosing names, that policy must be to make the policy inclusive for all reasons that a student might adopt or choose name that differs from the student's legal name. So basically, you can play make-believe. So the state of Colorado is stripping parents of their rights. These are actual people inside of a legislative body that are doing immense harm to children. They are grooming children. These are you know what they did to groomers 100 years ago? Apollo, what did they do to groomers 100 years ago?
I think they probably beat and
they killed them.
They killed them.
They killed them. They killed groomers. Do you know what happened when a man's boy was raped by a person in trust? That's why, by the way, you have metal detectors in airports. He's getting off.
Gary Planch.
Yeah.
He shot him in the head on TV.
Shot him in the head, and was found not guilty by people in his community. These are groomers. We are talking about groomers. We are talking about a captured state where they are literally trying to make us go to war. Well, will you go to war for your children? Will you do what Gary did and shoot a pedophile in the head? Now, I don't want to have to take it that far. I think you should chemically castrate them. I think they should be put to death. They should face the death penalty if you hurt a child. The death, let me just explain. I'm going to tell you right now what my thought is. If you hurt a child, death. And I'm talking quick death, not 25 years later. The child shouldn't have to go through 25 years of pain and suffering, remembering what you did to that child, while you're able to eat 3 meals a day, square up in a jail cell somewhere. No. you should die. And you say, well, Joe, you can't. That's vengeance. No, it's not. It's a law. We apply it to murderers. We should apply it to those that hurt children. But we can't do that because we have legislative bodies that are groomers and pedophiles. These are groomers and pedophiles. These are people who enact and think that it's normal to rape children. That is who the Democrats are, and that is what they always have been. And we have a captured state in the state of Colorado. This isn't about Democrat or Republican. And Ike, I'm talking to you, buddy. You're going to run as a Democrat again? You want to run for office? How in the world do you stand up for the values that Democrats are pushing across the finish line to strip parents of their parental rights? Section 5 and 6. Provide that a dress code adopted or implemented by a local education provider must not create or enforce any rules based on gender and allow each student to abide by a variation of the dress code. So this means, by the way, that let's say that you're in Valor Christian High School or one of these other high schools, Jesuit High School, is that if you set a rule that says if you're a boy, you can wear pants or shorts, they can say, no, you're not allowed to have that because if, the boys might want to wear a skirt. You're not allowed to adhere to the values. This affects everyone in Colorado, holds them hostage. You're now their slave. You've been their slave, but this just increases that. Section 7 provides that when an individual is required to provide their name through a form administered by the public entity, the form must include an option to provide the individual's legal name and chosen name. The individual provides a chosen name that is different from the individual's legal name. The chosen name shall be used on all subsequent forms administered by the public entity. Section 8 and 9 define dead naming and misgendering as discriminatory acts in the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act and prohibit these discriminatory acts from places of public accommodation. So let me just explain to you what they're saying here. So Johnny comes in and says, I want to be called Jonah, and I'm a girl. And I look over and I'm like, you got an Adam's apple and you got arms like apes. You're a boy. You have a penis. I'm going to call you a boy. I'm going to call you Johnny. That they can come actually they can come in there and they can persecute, they can prosecute you for free speech, for speaking the truth. See, the left has always been about just getting rid of the truth. They want to run away from the truth. Just run as far away from it as you possibly can. And we have tolerated the ridiculous. We've allowed the ridiculous to get into our society. We have to just do what exactly? I got to call a girl a boy now and let them play in women's sports and do real harm. Take away opportunity from women. We're allowed grooming is now the normal thing. You have to allow it in school. You have to put up gay pride flags on the wall while you strip it of the American flag. And I'm supposed to let that happen. And you're supposed to let that happen because if you don't, they'll dox you. Apollo. What happens when people dox me?
People show up at your house, threaten your family.
And what did I have to say? What did I have to almost do?
Show up again. You'll leave in plastic.
Right. 21 times someone has come to my house to do harm since 2020. And it's not, I don't care it's about me. But if you're not willing to stand up for your children because you're afraid they might dox you, go after your employer. Okay, sue them. Go after them fully. Well, I don't have the money to. See, they have cut off every avenue for the average person. They have bullied them into accepting it because of fear of loss. Prove me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Now you got Elon and everyone else out there, and I'm sorry, Elon, I 100% support you. I support you 100%. But there is real harm being done because people in the community won't stand up and speak. It has nothing to do with what they think or what they feel. It has everything to do with the repercussions. Now you see it happening. They're burning down Tesla stations. And you want to give them 20 years. How about you do this? How about you give somebody 20 years if they dox someone? How about you give them 20 years if a bunch of retards call somebody's employer and say, or doxes them online, has 1,000 people write reviews, you give them 5 to 10 years. You want to equalize this, make it so that people feel like they can use their voice. Because right now, they can't. They can't use their voice. I use my voice. Everybody's like, Joe, you're really loud. Man, Apollo. Do we not? I mean, oh man. Let's just go to it. You want to go to it? Let's just go to it. I'm sure Mark has lots to say. I keep having these fire things where I'm just firing away. Scott Pressler. We keep talking about stuff like this bill that they're putting out. They want to steal the soul of your family. They want to normalize open marriages and sleeping around. They want to steal literally the soul of your children. And you won't say anything. Nobody will say anything. You want to show up and negotiate. And the same people stand up every day. But a vast majority of the people that are out there, they don't, I don't have any money, Joe. I can't. Using your voice doesn't take any money. And by the way, you don't have to scream and yell at people. You just have to say, we're done. We should forcefully remove every single person that advocates for hurting children, for stealing parental rights, for silencing the Constitution, for doing and capturing and doing what they're doing in Colorado and in Washington State. Oh my gosh, we're going to go through a bunch of stuff that the Colorado Secretary of State banded together with 14 other Secretary of State saying that we're not going to follow anything that President Trump says. Arrest them. You want to do something, Pam Bondi? You want to do something? You come in and you arrest these devilish freaks and watch them flip. And you know what? Then you just say, no, I'm going to make them an enemy of the state because they literally have committed treason. It's pretty easy. Send them to Guantanamo Bay. But instead, we want to take this slow roll. And we can't do a slow roll, guys. Evil's captured some of our states. They're putting bills out there that are stealing the ability for parents to raise their children. Parents are leaving their jobs, their careers, the opportunities they've had of a lifetime to leave states to go somewhere else because they want to raise their kids in peace without somebody turning them into some sort of hermaphrodite freak, cutting off their penis and making them, run around in a dress. That's a real concern that parents have. And I talk to parents every day, left and right, Democrats and Republicans. Like, I don't want to take away Jonah's rights because to dress like a girl. I said, what about your kids? They're like, no, my kids don't do that. I'm thinking to myself, until you're not watching. And then they go and slip their hand in their pants and say, I think you should be a boy. I think you should be a girl. Let's go ahead and bring Mark Cook on. I'm going to skip some of the commercials. We'll come back in a couple minutes. I'm a little fired up there, Bubba.
I'm shocked. I've never seen you fired up before. It's a new thing for you.
I have a huge regard for the truth and for the people, my brothers and sisters. Huge regard.
Yep, me too.
And you got a lot of people out there that think you just should be quiet. You should sit down. Let them handle it. I mean, what do you think about that, Mark? Just sit down. Don't say anything. I don't want you to be involved. You shouldn't get involved.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want everyone to do because they're just bullies. They mock the truth and then they demonize the truth. That's what demons do. And so what everyone needs to do is the opposite. Now, how do you deal with a bully? You stand up to the bully. So when they try to silence
punch
us,
it in the face.
We just get louder. Yeah, we just punch them in the face with truth, figuratively.
No,
at first.
No. I think that I'm quite past. I don't want violence, Mark. But I just read that bill. Did you hear what I just read on that bill?
I did. It's absolutely disgusting. And they're going for everything they can possibly do at this point because these are acts of desperation.
But they're not desperate because they just passed SB 03. 25 SB 03.
Well, it's only good until the people just stop following all the laws.
But that's the whole idea, though. I mean, if you're looking at communist ideology, in order to break down the constructs of a country, in order to break down the constructs of a country, you have to get to the place where you're willing to disregard the laws. And that only those tyrants inside of those law-abiding environments, those are the only voices you get to hear.
Yeah. That's why we got to wake up the citizens so they can actually understand what it is that we're truly dealing with here. And every citizen is completely in power if they actually act. But if you sit on your butt, sit on the couch, and just sit in that passenger seat, then that vehicle is going to get driven off the cliff with you in it. So now is the time people need to pull their head out of their ass, stand up off the couch, and actually say no and put an end to all of this. Otherwise, it will not stop until every single one of us is crushed into nothing. Because that's what our future is going to be if people don't stand up. There are 350 plus million of us. There's a small handful of these demons. Stand up.
Well, hold on.
And
There's not.
destroy
It's not.
them.
All right. So what does it mean to stand up? Because Mark, you know, I got people out there that are these clowns. These Scott. I'm going to say it, Scott Pressler of the world. Scott Pressler's a piece of shit. I'm just going to say it right now. Anytime you gaslight thousands of people that have been doing research, that have actually done the hard work, written the reports, gotten into how the code's written, created models, validated those models, got into the cash flow records. Ed Solomon, mathematician. The work that you actually did on this show related to the come on.
Well, let's go into Scott Pressler, okay? Because Scott Pressler is not just this misguided person.
No. Should we talk about his dad?
There's much more to Scott Pressler than people know. And here's the frustrating thing. I haven't come public about this, and this is the first time that I've shared the details that I'm about to share with everyone. But it's important that people are aware of this. And I didn't know who Scott Pressler was at first either. So I first met Scott Pressler in Washington, D.C., in the basement of the Trump Hotel.
Didn't he grab your butt? I think he grabbed your butt.
No. He did not. And it was in an event that Dinesh D'Souza was at, and I wanted to go to get more involved. So when I said earlier that people need to stand up and get involved, here's what I did to stand up and get involved. I started trying to figure out, what can I do to get more educated? What can I do to get more closely involved to find out what's going on so I can more accurately discern the difference between truth and lies? What can I do as a person to actually expose and educate and put an end to the evil that I'm seeing? So I found an opportunity to go out and meet some people that were the ones that I saw on the news, you know, Dinesh D'Souza coming out with 2,000 Mules and whatnot. And so I wanted to go out and meet these people to learn from them, not saying that everyone's truthful at all times, but I want to determine what the truth is by examining the facts on my own and using my own brain to figure that out. So I went to an event. I met Dinesh. I met some other people, you know, kind of the, I guess, conservative Inc., the more well-known conservative Inc. people I had only seen on Facebook at that time. That was before, when I was still on Facebook, before I was jailed a few times. And I went out and met these people. I met Will Witt. He was there as well. And Scott was there. So I just knew Scott was this very
What do you mean you were
guy
jailed?
with long hair.
What do you mean you were jailed?
Facebook jail.
Oh, Facebook jail.
Yeah. The normal.
Yeah.
Yes. So I met Scott briefly. I shook his hand. I remember down in the big foyer area there where the security was. I had no clue who he was. I figured he's just another citizen like me. So later on, I start noticing this guy going around cleaning up all these cities in the BLM and Antifa. And I thought, wow, what a great person, what a great citizen to go do this. Wow, someone really went out on a limb and just decided, and they just organically became famous for doing this. I thought that was really wonderful. And of course, I talked to a lot of people who really loved this guy too. And it turned out it was Scott Pressler. So fast forward, election happens November 3rd. November 4th, I'm looking at my phone as I'm getting on the airplane. And I look down at my phone, and it's a message from Scott Pressler that he posted on Facebook that says, "Going to Pennsylvania, need help." And I'm getting on a plane in Miami to fly back to Colorado. And this is November 4th. This is like the first day of the Twilight Zone. And I wanted to do nothing more but get involved. And I didn't know how to do it. But I saw Scott Pressler posted, "Going to Pennsylvania, need help." I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. But I had no idea how to get a hold of Scott Pressler. So I texted someone that I had watched the election with the night before. And I figured she might know someone that knows how to get a hold of Scott. So I asked her, "Can you please get a hold of Scott or get his number to me? Because I'm about to get on a plane here And if I can go help him instead, I'll go do that instead of go back to Colorado. So I look down at my phone. A few seconds later, a number shows up. I call that number. A guy answers. I asked, "Is this Scott?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Scott, this is Mark Cook. I met you a couple years ago or so. You probably don't remember me at all, but I saw you need help in Pennsylvania. I'm about to get on an airplane. Can I help you in Pennsylvania? Do you want my help?" He said, "Yes, I would love it." I said, "Enough said. I'll call you back in a few minutes." So I turned back around. I got off the plane, said I had a family emergency. I called Scott, found out that he was going to the Capitol in Pennsylvania, that he was driving his car there at that time all night long. And this was, I think, an evening flight or afternoon flight for me. So I looked for the next available flight to Pennsylvania. It wasn't until the following morning. So I slept in the airport that night. But before I went to sleep, I tried to figure out, well, what are we going to do here? And when I talked to Scott, he said he wants to do a rally. And we came up with Stop the Steal. I don't know who came up with the phrase. I think it was him. But that was the phrase. And I asked him, "Do we have signs? Because if you have a rally, you got to have signs." He said, "No, don't have signs. I'm just driving to the Capitol." I said, "Okay, well, I'll get signs made." So I started looking on Facebook for anyone that was in Pennsylvania. I found a couple moms that were in Pennsylvania, and I worked with them to get some artwork done. Very simple. I mean, a sign in red letters, "Stop the Steal," printed at a Kinko's or Office Max. And one of them said she was going to go pick that up the following morning. And then the other one said she'd go to Home Depot and pick up a bunch of moving boxes, tape, glue, scissors, and box cutters so we could assemble the signs. So then I got all that set up. I went to sleep, woke up, on a bench in the airport, got on my flight to Pennsylvania, Ubered to the Capitol, and those two moms showed up right when I showed up as well. They had all their kids with them, and we sat on the steps of the Capitol in Pennsylvania assembling the Stop the Steal signs. And those signs, I actually have a picture of that event. I will show you here to show the actual signs that I assembled with them. So let's see here. Let me find this here. We'll switch over. And gosh, you have all
He's
this
about to
stuff
take.
set
He's
up.
about to take over your screen there, Apollo. Just
Oh
just
my
let
God.
him take it over. Let him take it over.
Apollo loves this. Loves this. Okay. So let's see here. I'm
All
gonna
right.
go here. Mark, Stop the Steal rally. There we go. And boom.
All right, go ahead and give it to him. Oh,
Oh,
what happened?
that's the wrong one. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. Let's go with this here. And okay. So right here, these are all the Stop the Steal signs. So see that they all look the same. These red Stop the Steal.
Yeah.
That all right there those are the signs that we created. And if you look down here in the bottom, that's my backpack that I had with me that day. And this is the rally. This is the first Stop the Steal rally. This is the rally that Scott Pressler put on.
That's in Colorado. Where is
So
that? Is that in Pennsylvania?
no, that's Pennsylvania, Capitol
right.
Steps of Pennsylvania. And then look, here's him being interviewed on Right Side Broadcasting right here. So, getting interviewed there. There's his little deal there. And so I thought he was just this organic, real nice guy that was, cleaned up the cities after the BLM riots and whatnot. Here's another picture of me right there at the rally. Yeah, look familiar, right?
Who's the
I've
guy
been
with the
doing this a
Lion
while.
King deal? Are you guys yelling at him or something?
He's a really passionate guy up here. I don't know who the guy with the Lion King deal is. I'm guessing he was probably not real happy with us doing the Stop the Steal rally. But and I think that's why he might be getting yelled at by this gentleman here that seems to be very passionate.
Looks like you were yelling at him too. But what's up with the guys wearing the mask? I mean, that kind of is weird.
The mask is kind of weird, and I don't yell. I explain things to people. But very rarely do I.
I don't yell either. I don't yell either.
Give me a break. Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's me right there with Scott Pressler at the first Stop the Steal rally. Now it didn't just end there. So I was there with Scott for 3 days, and the first day I didn't even know where I was going to stay that night. So Scott said that some very nice patriots had got us a hotel room.
Right.
So I thought that's awesome because I had no idea where I was going to sleep, and it turned out I'm sharing a hotel room with this guy that I had never. I guess met
Scott Pressler.
Time, I really didn't know. I got to share. You
shared a hotel room
with Scott Pressler. I did. I didn't share a bathroom with Scott Pressler.
Hold on a second here. Oh, so you did. Apollo. He shared a bathroom with Scott Pressler, and lived to tell about it. Do we have a picture of you in bed with Scott Pressler?
You are gay. What?
No, because we had separate beds.
You had separate beds. You thought you did.
We had separate beds.
How's
No,
that
we
roof?
definitely have separate beds.
How's that roofie doing for you? Is it doing okay?
Yeah, dude. No roofie, no roofie. So anyway, Scott, we'll say Scott has a tremendous amount of hair products, and is probably one of more hair products than I've seen anyone ever have in my life. That he filled that whole countertop in the bathroom up. But anyway, I did the rally. So the Great American Rebirth website, greatamericanrebirth.com.
Yeah.
That website I created that night, the first night that Scott and I were in that hotel room. So Scott went to sleep early. I stayed up at the little desk in the room, and I created that whole website because I realized we don't have media that we can trust. And I wanted a way to get the truth right out to the people. I wanted to be able to video stuff on my own phone, put it right out there for the people. So that's where greatamericanrebirth.com showed up. Now, if anyone looks at it now, it's basically like a frozen in time because I didn't do much with it after that, except I put the Sacramento County, California reports on there when I went out there in later on, a few weeks later, I guess in December.
That's Shasta
December,
County?
I went out to do an
Shasta
audit.
County?
No, Sacramento County.
Sacramento County. Okay.
So if you go to greatamericanrebirth.com, click on Sacramento County, California, that menu item, you'll see everything that I experienced. And when I saw that stuff in Sacramento County, because I did go out there and I was able to take 300 pictures that the Register of Elections took me through and let me take, but I saw what condition our voting systems were in just by that 3-hour tour that I had in Sacramento County. But that's a whole other show I could go into detail on. But let's go back to Scott Pressler. So there I am with Scott. We're sharing a room. I think we shared that hotel room. I think it was 2 nights.
Sharing a room. So I keep going back, sharing a room.
Are you jealous? I think
so
you're jealous.
Nice.
I think it's jealous. Okay.
I'm so.
I know you.
I'm so jealous.
Why are you gay?
And by the way, that's not a thing. I mean, Scott's gay, and he's not hiding it. So, Mark's
gay. And here's the thing. I had no idea Scott was
gay.
Just so you know, I had no clue he was gay. I did not get it. It took me a little bit. So, but anyway,
bro, you would be the last. How in the world could that even be possible? Like everyone. I mean, you could.
Well, so when he invited you in the shower, what happened, man?
Yeah,
no, that would have been a giveaway, though. I would have got that one.
He comes up behind you. He's like,
"No, he was."
Let me wash your back for you.
Scott was a perfect gentleman.
Oh, he's a perfect gentleman. Okay.
So, all right. Hey, Apollo, can you smack Joe in the head, please? All right.
Come on, we gotta have a little bit of fun with it. That bitch.
There we go.
Okay,
right.
Go ahead.
So
Sorry.
I got to meet Scott's parents also. So we went and ate, and I met with Scott, his mom, and his dad while we were out there in Pennsylvania.
Rob Pressler.
So that was interesting to meet them. Now I didn't know who any of these people were. I just met them for the first time here, and I'm hanging out with Scott, and I think I'm helping the country here. So
Rob Pressler.
Then we go out. Rob Pressler and his mom. They were both very nice. So we went and did the event with, I think, 2 days at the front steps and I think a day in the back, or maybe 1 day in the front and 2 days on the back steps of the Capitol there in Pennsylvania. And then another family invited Scott and I to stay at their house. So we went and stayed at their house, 2 separate rooms. And they were very, very nice. So I spent about, I think in total 4 or 5 days with Scott at that time.
Okay.
And he even dropped me off at the train station so I could, take my flight back to Colorado. So Scott dropped me off there. I flew back and I was ready to go. I really thought Scott was a decent guy. I thought he was really trying to make a difference. And so I said, Scott, I'm ready to help. What's next? And he said, well, we're going to do Georgia next week. I said, awesome. I'll be there. So I flew back to Colorado. Then I was there for Colorado, I think for a couple of days, and I flew back to Georgia. So I flew back to Georgia. I got I'm doing this all on my savings. So I got the cheapest hotel room I can find, which, by the way, that was a massive mistake. Really big mistake. I got to stop doing that. But I went out there and I met him on the Capitol steps and I helped kind of maneuver that rally is a little bit. There were a lot more people involved, so there wasn't much I could do, but I was there and I was videotaping everything. And then I got a call that night about 2 or 3 in the morning from Dennis Kane, which is Nate Kane's father. And Nate Kane was the FBI whistleblower for Uranium One. But there's a story to Nate Kane as well that I didn't know then, but that I do know now. And I'd love to go into some detail another time. So anyway, Dennis asked me if I'd go out to DC to help Nate. So I left and didn't help with the rest of that rally because I went out to DC. And that's how I got involved in ending up in Sidney Powell's war room right after she was evacuated. That was the night. It was the night of my first night in Georgia, helping Scott with the second Stop the Steal rally. So, in addition, I think during the first time that I was there, I'm pretty sure it was the first, I was driving around with Scott in his van. He had a minivan, and he had got some notice that there were ballots.
Hold on a second. Time.
Oh my God! Here we go.
We got
you
commentary
got caught on the minivan, didn't you?
I got caught,
wasn't it?
I just want to know if there was
It
a
was a
bag of
minivan.
candy in the middle. That's all.
All right, there's no
No
bag.
sharing candy. No sharing candy.
No.
We got to have a little fun with this.
I know.
Minivan.
We're driving around in the minivan, and he got word that there were ballots in a trash can, shredded ballots in a trash can in the back of a school somewhere. So we end up at this school.
All right. How do you
Scott
get
and
word
I,
of that?
a phone call came in,
From his
something on
dad?
his phone.
From
I
his
don't know
dad.
where it came from. I'm writing the passenger seat. He sees something on his phone or gets it on the call. I can't remember if it was a call or text. And I didn't think anything was weird at this moment. I'm just thinking, okay, this is great. We found some ballots, and I figured he got a tip from someone. So we parked down the street of the school, and you're good, man. You're good. So we go ahead and we walk all the way down to the school. We go into the back of the school, and Scott and I are dumpster diving. Literally, we are opening up these big dumpsters, the side panels on the dumpsters, jumping through the holes and into all the garbage. Scott's in one dumpster, I'm in another. We're literally going through garbage in the back of a school, looking for bags or boxes of shredded ballots. And we find some boxes of shredded something, bags of shredded something, trash bags. And so we grab all the trash bags of whatever it is that's shredded, and we put them in the back of Scott's minivan.
Okay.
And then Scott said he's going to go through all those at some point. And I think that's when he dropped me off, I believe, at the train station. But I went dumpster diving with Scott Pressler as well on my little journey along with the guy. Very, very interesting. So fast forward many, many, many months, I'm seeing Scott start to push early voting. And I believe mail-in voting as well. But the early voting was the big problem, because I know that early voting combined with mail-in voting is what allows a lot of the sophisticated covert manipulation within our elections. Now, I know Scott's not a computer guy at all. But
you don't
Scott
say.
didn't understand this. Yeah, well, Scott didn't understand this. Oh, another time I went door knocking with Scott at some point also. I got to figure out when this was. But I was door knocking with him in Georgia. I think it was maybe that Georgia trip. But I was door knocking with the guy, and we ended up at Lynn Wood's house magically. We go to the house right next to Lynn's house, and the guy at that house says, "By the way, don't bother going to the next house." And Scott said, "Why?" And he said, "Oh, well, that's Lynn Wood's house, and he's out of town. And obviously, we don't need a door knock for Lynn Wood." But that was before I knew who Lynn Wood was.
You were in South Carolina then?
Weird. No, this was Georgia, Atlanta.
Lynn Wood doesn't.
I guess he has a house. Well, I guess he had a house there too.
Probably.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was another incident. But anyway,
who said he knew it was Lynn Wood's house?
Oh, this is the neighbor of Lynn Wood, just to the left of his house. If you're facing Lynn's house, just to the left, that neighbor was that one. And by the way, I was walking around the streets with Scott as we were door knocking, and he was doing his little, Facebook deal where he'd have his little, phone up here as he, does his walking thing. And, he spent a lot of time doing his hair. That should have been a giveaway for me too. But
no, I think
so fast forward,
just the tip would have been
just a tip. So in the van. So he's pushing,
and the bag of candy
in the back. There's no bag of candy, damn it. Right.
So you say.
All right. So
no Skittles.
Yes. So he's pushing early voting, and I'm getting pretty frustrated that he's pushing early voting, because I'm thinking, all right, Scott doesn't understand the sophistication of this clearly. So I'm trying to call Scott, trying to get a hold of him about this early voting thing. Scott won't respond to my text messages. Scott won't respond to my phone calls, won't answer my calls. And I've got all text messages or attempts at texting him at least, and the phone calls. So I can't get a hold of him now. And this guy is pushing early voting, which I think is, this guy is supposed to be trying to help our country, yet he's pushing early voting, which is actually destroying our country. And he won't talk to me about it. So I keep trying to find anyone that might know Scott to try to get that message through. So one of my friends happened to run into Scott at an event, I think in Nevada. And he went up to Scott and said, Scott, we got to talk about early voting. And Scott told him, I can't stop or Harmeet will kill me. That was the words that was told to my friend from Scott Pressler with regard to early voting. So I got told that, and
Harmeet
I thought, okay,
Dillon?
this is really strange. What? Of course, Harmeet Dillon. So why would Harmeet be pushing Scott or controlling Scott? This is bizarre. I just didn't know at the time. So fast forward, last year, I'm at a church in Arizona at the Arizona GOP, and
Did
Scott
it burn down when
Pressler
you walked
was
in?
also there. No, it did not. I was
Then
Scott
you're a good
Pressler.
guy.
It didn't burn down when Scott Pressler.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Scott was there in the church with the Arizona GOP thing, and he was gonna, I think, either speak or I don't know what he was doing there. But anyway, I didn't know he was there at first. So here's how I found out he was there. Okay. Oh, Apollo, you're gonna have to like restrain Joe here for this one. Okay, so I'm in the men's bathroom, and I'm up at the urinal.
Restrain me, Apollo. See the words that he's using, Apollo? He's asking me to be restrained. It's kind of gay, bro. Just saying.
A little bit.
Mark,
So,
I'm just
I'm
gonna
at the-
tell you
I'm
right
at the
now, I
urinal.
don't want no part of this, man.
That's a very, very wide view, Paula. So I'm sitting there at the urinal. I finish up my business. Okay. I turn my head
Yeah.
and I see Scott Pressler in the corner of the bathroom, up at the counter, where all the sinks are. He's in the corner, blow drying his hair. Now, I have never seen a blow dryer in a men's bathroom before. Scott Pressler is blow drying his hair in the corner of this men's bathroom in this church. And I thought, okay, this is an opportunity to finally talk to him about this early voting thing. I'm literally here with him. I guess we're going to have a conversation in the bathroom. So I go up, wash my hands,
By
and
yourself
he
with
finishes
him
up his hair.
in a bathroom.
Just me and Scott in the bathroom. There was no Candy or Van involved.
Play the music.
So I'll wait for the music to be done. All right.
No,
So-
I'm just kidding. I was gonna get it out.
There you go. So Scott finishes up and he starts to walk out, but I was not going to let him walk out before we had this conversation. So I walked up to him and I said, Scott, we got to talk about early voting. And he looks at me, and I'm sure I'm 5'6". He's very, very tall. So he looks down at me and says, listen, Mark, you're telling me the same thing every other expert has told me, including David Clements. I don't care. I'm not going to stop. And he walked out on me. He walked out on me in the bathroom, Joe.
I was just gonna play a song. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. So you
refuse to have the conversation. Hold on. I missed the best thing of the bathroom experience, though. Hold on.
All right.
You won't believe this one. Here's the
I
big,
will.
here's the
I
real
will believe it.
important
If
thing, okay?
it's Scott Pressler
No.
and bullshit in the same sentence, it's all it works.
Oh, here comes a whole bunch of bullshit. Okay,
All right.
so I had known Scott. Clearly, I had spent time with him prior to this, okay? Scott speaks like a normal person. You watch any video, Scott speaks kind of like a normal person. But in this bathroom, Scott spoke with the strongest
Man voice.
gay lisp I have ever heard in my life. Not only gay lisp, but like almost like a Southern accent. Clearly, I thought the guy had lost his marbles because I know that it was not his voice, but he was putting on some type of very strange act. And why would he do that with me? Unless does he have different voices for different people? It was the most bizarre thing. Sane people don't act like that. You've never used a fake voice with me.
No.
You have your voice. I have my voice.
I don't have
This
a
guy
minivan and a bag
used
of candy either.
Completely different. Yeah, but you wish you did. Okay, but
No, I don't.
you
No, I
gotta-
don't. No, I
you have-
don't.
you have the next best thing. You have a freaking Cybertruck.
I have a
You see
Porsche.
some granola bars in your Cybertruck. Same thing as candy in a minivan.
I don't know
So
what you're
Scott
saying, bro.
Pressler absolutely used a very fake, flamboyant Southern accent, over the top Southern accent. That's something like an actor would do, but a normal human being would not do that. So there's my whole very strange Scott Pressler experience. Oh, and then he blocked me not too long ago as well. And it turns out he's blocked everyone that has tried to bring up early voting
He's a
or
fraud.
anything about the truth. So I hate to say it, I didn't know it at the beginning, but I hate to say that I think Scott Pressler is a big fat fraud. And I think that everyone is going to be finding out the truth about who this guy really is and what his real intent is on this. I think it's to subvert our entire election system. And I think he's infiltrated the White House, the Trump admin, and the
Trump
hearts
knows.
of a whole lot of
Trump
American
knows.
Patriots as well. I hope Trump knows. I really
Trump
do.
will keep the village idiot close. And we could talk about the village idiot, and he's listening. At some point, he's listening. Look,
Scott, I would love to publicly talk about this. I'd like to know, Scott, why did you use that very fake voice with me in the bathroom? I'd like to know that.
I just want to know, would his candy get you to get in the minivan, or would you rather get into this?
I'm not a candy guy.
No. How about eye candy? How about one of these?
I might get in a minivan for one of those. Yes, that would be it.
That's a new tool.
You know my weak spot, Joe.
Yeah, I just need you to put a supercharger on that thing.
I think it's probably fast enough.
No.
So anyway, that's the Scott Pressler story, and more to come. And then we can go to League of Women Voters too. That's another fun little organization.
Yeah, so let's go through a few things if we can, because I wanted you to be able to tell your story about the candy and sharing rooms and stuff with him, because I really thought that was important.
Still no candy, Joe. Okay.
You sure wasn't candy like hidden somewhere? You didn't like pop out of the closet, but like surprise.
We don't need to be talking about your deep
dark
desires here, Joe. We just need to get focused on the election. Back to elections.
It's hard to get focused on the election when you got people that are simping and talking about stuff that's nonsense. It's complete nonsense.
It's all like nonsense. It's all to distract us from the elections. All this shit is to distract us from elections. I guarantee
all of it. All of it is.
All of it. Every bit of it. Yep.
And
citizens, stop falling for it. It's all about the elections. Everything's about the elections. Fix the elections. Everything else gets fixed.
All right.
If we allow them to distract us from the elections, we're effed. All this is going to be temporary.
I was going back and looking at when I was actually canceled from X for the second time and why I was canceled for the first time. Because you can go back and you can say, okay, here's they send you an email saying you did this, right? And it was right after. It was the 16th of November, I think, 2020. And I got kicked off. No, it was 21st. It's 21st. I got kicked off of X. By the 21st, there was 4 days in a row or 3 days in a row that you had people come to my house that were actual threats. And Apollo had to deal with a few of them. And it was crazy. It's crazy what we're dealing with. And then I got kicked off X. And I got shut down on Facebook. Then I got canceled on, Parler went away in January, but I got cancel all the way down. Nothing. You couldn't find anything, right? I was completely kicked off. Now, fast forward to 2022, Elon bought X. Wasn't X at the time, it was Twitter. 4 months in, 5 months in, ran it up again, got to, 11, 12, 15,000. I don't remember. Same thing as right now. And canceled again. Cancel again on X. Now, I haven't stopped talking about election machines. I haven't started talking. We've had you on. People will find us. They found us on all the different places that we broadcast. But there's a concerted effort to stop these messages from getting out. Right? Paula, can we get somebody to get me a water, please? And so then in 2024, I get a phone call. And this is when I found out the significance of this guy, Chuck Faddis, ex-CIA guy, who came to visit me in November of 2020. Right? And he was the one that came to visit me, and I was at a restaurant. He walks in. And it's really weird. He's got he's got somebody else that he comes in, some sort of puppet that's on another side of the deal. And he asked me a couple questions, and then I get irritated by some of the questions he asked, and he gets irritated at me. And I was like, all right, conversation's over. So I leave. But in 2024, they called me like, Joe, there's a list. And this is the person that told me this is in Congress. Like, this is directly related to a congressman. And he's like, there's a list, 10 people. And you're Apollo, I don't remember what's number 2 or 3 or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think you're 3.
I don't remember. I actually don't remember, but
I can't remember who the other ones were though.
But there was a list of people, Mark, of you have to make sure he doesn't speak. And remember, I didn't get sued by Dominion, but I'm the one that started the whole thing on Dominion. Everyone else got sued. Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, everyone got sued. Why didn't they sue me? Instead, they sent a proxy of Eric Coomer, wiped the entire internet of everything having to do with him. And then when I went to Washington, and I'm like, here's how they stole the elections. And then I predicted the outcome of the Georgia election, just based on what I knew so far, which we didn't know much. We didn't have any of the information that we now have through all of this. And so the reason why I bring that up is because during that entire time I think it was 2021, we had this guy, Raul. They came out of nowhere from Romania, who were connected to all the things having to do with stealing elections and basically creating sock puppets inside of the election system that are registrations of people. If you don't have IDs, by the way, and you don't have to verify that those people are, and you have mail-in ballots and you have the USPS that's been captured. And remember the guy that drove ballots down from New York to Pennsylvania, right? Remember what happened with...
I shook hands with that guy in the hotel.
He's a legitimate guy.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
They turned his life upside down. They literally ruined that guy. He lost his house, lost everything. Only to find out later on that, it was absolutely true. You want to get on? Come on. All right, good. Come here. What do you
he's getting his water. Are the roofies in that water?
Yeah, it's no candy. No candy was affected. Thank you, Jason.
Okay.
She's like, do not put me on. You better not put me on. Mark, in that time you have David Clement's documentary comes out. Dominion doesn't sue him either, right? I get my name trashed.
The truth is,
they not only know what the truth is, but I carry a gun everywhere I go. I mean, look, there's so much that I know right now, right, in my little itty bitty head, and that you know. And we got this Raul guy who brought all the receipts. He gave us all of the receipts, brother. All of it. This is back in 2021. And I remember when I got canceled again on other platforms. When was it? 2021, when I started talking about Raul. And I had to hire someone because I couldn't get out of the country. They wouldn't let me out of the country. To go to Romania via Italy. So Italy, drive over to Romania. Take a deposition of him in Romania. We're going to play it today. Take a deposition of him in Romania where he provides us the receipts of he worked for the company that was a known CIA company. He's hiding out from place to place. He's now in jail. They put him in jail. Right? And he's hiding because he has all the receipts. They want him to hand it over. He wouldn't. He handed it over to us. I still have some of it, which implicates, what do you think it implicates? Dominion voting systems.
All of them. Dominion. Yeah.
Yeah. ES&S. Smartmatic. And it all ties back together. And we were able to get more information about what was happening in Chicago at the roaming networks. It was basically a sock puppet company that was in the middle of a yard that basically did cell towers. I mean, it started to all come together.
They know what the truth is. They know what they've been doing this whole time. They just didn't expect any of us to figure it out. And they're certainly not happy with us sharing it, but they don't know how to control us. And there's no way they can at this point. It's too late. Too many people know, and they know what their fate is. They're all going to get exposed. Now we just have to hold them all accountable.
But now the states are going in and just saying, we're just not going to follow the rules. So we're going to go and arrest the governor of states. Are we going to have Polis in handcuffs? We should. And they knowingly
Absolutely.
defrauded the American people, committed treason to put themselves in positions of trust and authority in multiple states. Can we just arrest all of them? And you know what? Just figure it out later. Take them down to Guantanamo Bay, run the waterboard over them a little bit, see what you can get out of them, and then figure it out from there.
Well, I'm not going to advocate for just that
You're not?
or that,
I will.
but I will
It's
say
not
this.
just that, but you can add it to the list, right? It's consideration.
Citizens have to understand this. Criminals figured out how to infiltrate society.
Organized
Criminals
crime.
figured out to infiltrate society, they just have to take over the election system. That's the easiest way for them to do it, because then the criminals can become all of the people that would normally stop the criminals. And so we are living in a society, we are seeing the symptoms every day that has suffered from just this. We have the patients running the asylum. That's the problem. So you're not going to negotiate with a crazy person. You're not going to negotiate with a criminal. They're criminals. They don't give a crap what you think.
Right.
They have got on the inside and they're perfectly happy staying there. And they'll break any law it takes to stay there. They don't care. They don't live by the same rules we live by. So we have to approach this in a way that's very different. We're not trying to just convince people that there's a better way to do this. We're not trying to convince people that, oh, you're breaking the law. The criminals know they're breaking the law. They don't give a flying fuck. So we have to
Did you just cuss? You have to
pay
write that down.
attention to the fact. We have to pay attention to the fact these people are criminals. They don't care about us. They don't care what we think, and they're not going to give it up until we take it from them. That's it. The only way we're getting this is if we take it from them. Now, the peaceful way to do it is to take back control of our election system. We can do that, and we should do it with all our might, so it does not have to go to anything violent. The whole reason I'm doing this is so we don't go violent. I want us to take back control of our election system. I want it in the hands of the people, and I want to live in a society that reflects the will of the voter. And then all this other stuff will go away. So I'm never advocating for violence. I never will do that.
I didn't advocate
I
for
still
violence.
think we can reclaim our election system.
When did I advocate for violence? I said
no, I didn't say you did. I'm just saying that I won't. I won't. But we do need to get back our election system really quickly.
You know, Jordan Peterson said that men, I was talking to a friend, he said, you need to see this. Jordan Peterson said that we're warriors, we're savages. And it's a choice not to be violent. Now, of course, you have the beta males, but real men are capable of great violence. And not this pansy violence, not go grab a gun, but to use your bare hands and choke the life out of someone. It's a real thing. And we have chosen, because we follow Jesus, we have chosen to let that thing inside of you subside. But now they're grooming children. Now they're hurting children. Now they're getting little freaks to walk around. Sorry, but guy that throws his hair around as if this is like an episode of the Kardashians. And I'm going to save the day. People need to just vote harder, and creating just false statements about what's really happening in our country. Of course he's an op. You know how many ops there are? There's a ton. The most significant op that you have going on right now are the retards that you could pay $5 to just to have somebody listen to them. That's the most significant. Is some zero that frankly just is a zero. I mean, never has set their sights or done anything of any significance. They get abused or used by other people that get to create this kind of simpy mentality. Flynn's Judge Byrne. It's just semi-retarded, right? And hey, you know what? A lot of things could be ops.
A lot of things are. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people don't know what the truth is. They're looking for leaders. Not everyone has our knowledge. Our abilities, our lack of F's at this point. And so those that can needs to stand up. Evil prevails when good men do nothing. So it is important for every good man to stand up. Either if you don't know the truth, find the truth, and then shout it from a rooftop and hold those that do evil accountable. This is our time. This is make it or break it for not only the United States of America, but I think for humanity as a whole. We have to make a decision. Do we want everything to be fake and virtual and artificial? or do we want things to be real and, in the light of God?
Okay, so I'm
This is our moment.
gonna put a lot of stuff in front of you right now. I want you to draw a line to it because I know you get it. So I'm not going to try and sell you on the getting it part. Antonio Gracias has been helping Doge at Social Security, and he found millions of illegal immigrants led by the Biden administration or taxpayer-funded benefit programs, as well as committing election fraud. Now, the problem is, Mark, is that this is the issue. I mean, this by the way is the issue, is that they can create false flags. It's called the small con and the big con. You could get to the bottom of this and solve the small con, slow down what happens, but there's still the big con. The big con is that they can do whatever they want with machines and mail-in ballots, whatever they want,
Elections.
whatever they want. Let's go ahead and play this. I want you to hear this, Antonio Gracias.
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff they're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, just this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed us in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release from your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, a notice to appear, which to appear to judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people. Okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we map the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview. No ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep. No. They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through, on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why. Right. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote. In this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote, and we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already, that is already happening.
Mark,
It's all a con.
do you know what an
All a con.
EIN is, though? The problem is, you know what an EIN is? You know the difference is between a social security number and an employee identification number?
Mhm. Yep.
There's really no difference. The system is designed so that when people come across and they're going to work legally, they get access to those cards, those numbers. So, I mean, I pray that this is different than that, but I do know that you can get you can have a social security number and also get an EIN number, right? You can do it under your own
Systems
person.
are being gamed.
Yeah.
The electronic systems are being gamed by people that are much smarter than the average citizen to
Right.
take advantage of the citizens. The whole thing's engineered. And same thing with our elections. It's no different. We have virtual registration records, which lead to virtual votes. And that's why we have virtual results. And when you have virtual requests for Social Security, you're going to end up with a bunch of the same thing there. The technology is a tool that in the hands of bad actors can be a huge weapon against honest people. And the
All right,
honest
so-
people never see it.
So I want you to see this. This is an illegal. These are illegals talking about how they could get social security numbers, how easy it is. Let's go and play this quick clip.
Pues gracias a Dios me han ayudado.
Thank God they helped me get my medical insurance, and most importantly, medical insurance. They may have helped me get my ID and helped me obtain asylum, work permit, and my social security card. Thank God I got my social security and my work permit. And to get my social security and work permit,
or social security number.
only when my wife applied for the work permit. I only received the work permit when my wife received all of her papers, her social security number,
You
everything.
get a social security number when you arrive to the border. They give you one.
No, after I apply for asylum.
You apply for DoorDash, you have the work permit and the social security number. How long do you have to wait until you get a job at one of these food delivery companies?
Around for the app is like 1 week.
Sí, ando buscando el
Yes,
social.
I'm looking for
You're
the
looking
social.
primarily for the social security number. And you haven't gotten it after over a year?
Sí, lo recibí, pero lo guardé dentro de los
Yes, I
papeles
got it. I
y
kept it
lo
inside the
ando
paperwork, and now I'm
buscando.
looking
What
for
was
it.
the process like to get that job? Did you have to apply, and how did it work?
I applied for myself and give me my working permit and my social. That's why I used the social to open my application.
Okay. All DoorDash needs is social security number and work permit
Social security number and ID.
and an ID.
And an ID.
Okay. Did you have to interview with them or speak to anybody, or you just got a notification you can drive?
Yeah, it's a process online. You
Okay.
just fill
Yeah.
the form.
Okay.
Yeah, after they open the account for you.
Okay. How quickly were you able to find that work?
Tanto que te llegan cuando te
When
llegan
your
los
papers
papeles,
arrive,
uno puede aplicar a la
one can
aplicación.
register in the
O sea, abrir
application.
la aplicación, colocar el social security,
You have to put your social and your work
social
permit.
security y el permiso de trabajo.
Did you get a social security number and a work permit?
Yo estoy pagando para eso.
I'm paying to get
Social
that.
security number. Any papers that Uber requires?
No. Aquí, o sea, las personas que ya tienen el
People who are already here in
ellos
social
se crean
security,
la cuenta y
the
nos
social, they
alquilan
create
a
the account and
nosotros
rent
a costo
it to us at a cost
para nosotros poder salir
for
a
us to be able to
trabajar.
go out to work.
Entonces, eso es lo que tampoco
So there wasn't much help
me
either
ayudaba
because I had to
mucho,
pay
porque tenía
for
que
it,
pagar lo que es el alquiler de la bicicleta,
which is the rental
más
of
el alquiler
bicycle
de la
plus the rental of the
aplicación,
application,
que son costos semanales. y
which are
entonces
weekly
más-
costs. And so with one more, he had nothing left. It just doesn't. It doesn't end.
Nope. Nope. Because we have these complex technological systems that are created that are so compartmentalized, run and managed by people that really aren't capable of securing them properly or even seeing these types of patterns. So when you have very sophisticated, smart, bad actors that know how to take advantage of this, the people are the ones that get screwed. The whole thing's a con. Our election system, Social Security, all of this is a con on the American people. And it's all allowed because we have an election system that's been taken from the people. It's been usurped by criminals, and none of this will ever get fixed unless the people take back control, sole control of their own elections. So they ensure that the will of them is accurately reflected in those elections, and that we actually elect people that the citizens want in office, and we enact the laws that the citizens want as well, because we are living in a society that does not match the will of the people right now. And I think this is an Article 4, Section 4 violation. If we have no way to determine if our votes are even accurately counted, then I don't believe that we currently have a republic.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. We're gonna, I'm gonna leave you guys with something. I think it's really important. And Mark, how sure are you? How sure are you that their elections are stolen?
100%.
You sure?
Absolutely.
How do you know?
Not every single one everywhere, but I absolutely know there is
They pick and
rampant
choose.
election fraud across the entire country. They absolutely do pick and choose. And if the system is set up in a way that allows local manipulation and it allows external third-party manipulation outside the counties, or any combination of it in between. That's the problem, is the entire ecosystem is set up in a way that allows unfettered manipulation and virtually undetectable manipulation, and certainly inauditable manipulation. And by the time we are able to audit it, well, it's too late. Then they fall on the mootness doctrine. So it's real simple. If we don't follow the framework, very similar to or exactly what I put together in the progressive election platform, which is at basedelections.org/PEP, PEP, basedelections.org/PEP. And that is a framework to return our elections to the people themselves, to the citizens. We're going to lose this republic. We are hanging on by a thread. And I don't want this to be one of those I told you so things, because if it's an I told you so thing, we've lost the United States of America. So I hope people start paying attention. This is our one moment. This is our opportunity. God has given us a sliver of time to get this right. We are in a constitutional crisis. We have a national state of emergency with regard to our elections right now. And if we do not take extreme measures, we will lose this country forever.
All right. I agree with you fully. And, frankly, I'm tired of having the conversation 4 years later. And I'm sick and tired of having to go out and get mocked by absolute demons. And I had to take a walk. I had to take a breath. I know there's not a lot of people that have the courage to try me right now. I mean, face to face. There just isn't. And so they do this thing online where they want to mock truth and reality with some of this craziest crap we've ever heard in our life, and we have to just tolerate it. Mark, at some point, people are going to have to be protected, not me, but others, to be able to speak up and tell the truth without repercussions of somebody going and doing economic terrorism to them or their families by saying, oh, this person stood up, I'm going to go after their employer, I'm going to go after their children, I'm going to go after because that's what's happening. The reason why more people aren't speaking up is because they've used terroristic tactics to keep people silenced, right? And the people that do speak up, we're just willing to take it. We're not willing to take it. We're willing to fight.
Absolutely.
We're willing to fight.
Yep.
But a vast majority of people out there are a lot of good people, Democrat and Republican.
Of course, absolutely there are. I used to be a Democrat.
You probably still are a little bit. You got in the car with candy and it's kind of a Democrat thing to do, bro. I'm just saying.
There was no candy.
Okay. See, this is how rumors are made right now. See that? People are going to leave here and be like, what did Joe talk about today? I think he was talking to Mark about him getting in a van with candy and then being in a room with him, and then he got in the shower with him, something like that.
Joe, I love you, man.
I'm just kidding. Oh, did I do that? Hello?
No, we're good. We got you.
I don't have any ears. There we go. I have ears.
You got ears. Joe broke his ears.
All right. I did broke my ears. All right. I'm gonna play some funny stuff for you, and then we're gonna play the entire Raul interview in Romania. And then tomorrow, I'm going to cover the documents related to Romania. Okay. But in the meantime, I want to own some people on April Fool's Day. And none of this is April Foolish, but it is foolishness. Senator Jim Banks wanted to address somebody that was asking stupid questions. So we got a really stupid answer. Actually, he got a really great answer. Let's go ahead and play this. Banks just literally took him to task. Let's go and play it. Or D1.
Hi, I was a worker at HHS. I was fired illegally on February 14th. There are many people who are not getting social service programs, especially people with disabilities. Are you going to do anything to stop what's happening?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it.
Dude,
Wow.
That's sad.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Why did I deserve it?
Because you seem like a clown.
Okay, sir, you shouldn't have said that.
No, he should have said it. You probably you look. HHS fired a bunch of people, and guess what? Still works. HHS.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Mark, I fired 39 people, 29 people in like a couple days. 39 people when I came back into the company. I had enough. The sense of entitlement, the fact that some of these people were show up whenever they want, leave whenever they want. Customers weren't getting taken care of the way they should. You know how many times people said something to me like, "Oh, you can't fire me." My HR person said, "You can't
watch
fire
me."
I was like, so the HR manager who sits in her office, we have this thing on the computers that tell you what, your production time. So I looked at her production time. It was like YouTube, TikTok. So, and I was addressing it. I was like, hey, listen, you need to do that in your oh, I don't, I wasn't on TikTok. I was like, oh, okay. She's not long for this world. So she walks out of the office and I walk over there and I'm like, yeah, you can escort this person out. She's like, you can't fire them. I'm HR. And I was like, you can join her. Just both
can leave. Yeah.
Get out. I think I turned to somebody to the finance person. I was like, yeah, but it's their last days right now. You know what runs really smoothly in the company now? HR. You know why? Because I canceled it. I went, get out. I tell you what, everybody do their job and you'll have a job. And you get paid well. And you'll get bonuses. And if you work hard and you take it, you'll get rewarded. And if you don't, and you're a boat anchor, I will literally cut the rope and let you drown.
I had an office manager that was doing a good job at first. She did a great job. And then, I gave her more work and she said, gosh, I need some help. So I got an assistant for my office manager because she said she really needed some extra help. And I just couldn't figure out how between two people, they couldn't get all this stuff done. So I started taking a look at it and turned out she had started a real estate company on the side. And while I was paying her as an office manager and paying her assistant basically to do her job, she was running a real estate agency, sitting in my desk while I was paying her by the hour.
Are you ready for this?
And I did have to have a little discussion as well and let her know where the front door was too.
Apollo, are you there, brother?
I am here.
All right. So we fired 39 people. This play for like 4 weeks, Mark. People would walk around on pins and needles. And then somebody had to FAFO again. And I was like, yeah, you're fired. Dude, somebody told me they were going to rage quit. I said, why wait? Get out. Apollo, what is the place like now? 3 months later.
It's actually a really good vibe. Like, no, I'm not gonna lie. So it had been a while, and there's a lot of tensions because there's a lot of shit going on. With the last 4 years, like the last 3-4 weeks, 2 weeks.
Oh
that
yeah,
it's kind of come together. Like I walk in, and everyone actually feels like a human.
Yes,
it's the first time since
when the
2020,
toxic is removed. It's not
first time since 2020.
It was, huh? I mean, it's crazy. It is, Mark. It's so crazy. And somebody who worked here before came back. Said, I want to come back. And she left in the middle of, I was gone. And one of the questions was, why do you want to come back? Well, because Joe's back. Like, are you? Two of the people that got came like, "What? Are you serious? You want to come back with Joe?" And then some people have been here 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, right? I still high five them when I walk down the hallway. They've been here a long time. They perform. They do great work. But boy, when I fired
just
all
be
those
genuine
people,
and do your job well.
yeah,
Not complicated.
it's crazy. Yeah. T-Book says, Joe is not PC, and I love this crap. Yeah, no, I'm not PC. I'm not. I'm sorry. I was never PC. No. I want to have loyalty and kindness. That's what I want in my company, which is awesome. Don't go there, Joe. Osaka. Well, tell us how it got fat. Nobody paying attention. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's a good point. How did you get to the point where you fired 39 people? Well, man. You can't build something in a day, but you can knock it down in a day. You can knock a company down in a day. You get one bad apple and you don't check that person can create cancer. And that cancer, I believe that cancers are the number one reason why businesses fail. And you'll see somebody that buys, and perfect example, someone to buy a business. I bought gun stores and ranges. And when I bought it, it wasn't a lot. It was just a small, did $1 million a year. And I ran that up from $1 million at single location to $12 million a year in 3 years. Okay. Nearly impossible. And that means that what they did in a year, I did in a month. Then I bought 2 more locations and we had a bunch of other things and we started doing more things. And now we're a premier guns and ammo provider in the state of Colorado. But we have you're our brother, you're our sister, you come in here, you're our family. Bad blood inside of your organization can destroy things so quickly. And and so you have to do everything you can in order to meet the ethos where it is. It's why our government is so corrupt. It's because the judiciary is so corrupt. The judges are so corrupt. And the attorneys that work for the judges do backdoor deals of how they're going to persecute people. It happens all the time. And
we have corrupt elections.
Corrupt elections. They put corrupt people in positions of power. And then they decide that they're going to, push laws that are just bad.
Simple.
Yeah.
Easily fixable. We take back control of the elections, and that goes away.
Yeah, and here's the thing you need to understand about this, and I think it's a teaching moment for those that have businesses. And Mark, you have businesses, you have people that work for you. Is that if you take your eye off the ball, someone will take your ball. They'll just take it, and then you can't play the game anymore. And it's an innate nature that there are about 20% of the people out there, they want to take your ball. They want what you have. Right? And so they will take everything that you have. And that's the problem with the radical left. And frankly, the radical right. Okay? Those 2 tips of the wings that touch, there are radical left, there is a radical right. Those fringe, those 5% on each side that and I don't even know if it's 5%. I just made that up. 3%, 4%. I hope it's smaller than that, but it's growing because we allow it to grow. Have those 5% on both sides, Mark, they've marginalized the 90% in the middle.
Right. They're criminals. They're not even on either side. They're just criminals that are playing both sides. That's all it is. It's a freaking game for them. It's just, how much can I get on my own? How much can I take advantage of these people? How much can I enslave these people? That's it. They're sick. These are sick demons, and they play everyone. Democrat, Republican, I don't care what side anyone's on. It's all a freaking game because these people are psychopaths. They are sick, and they want to destroy. That's all they want to do is destroy. They don't care. We want to build. We want to create. We want happiness and love, but they don't want that. They want sorrow and misery and destruction. That's why we have this spiritual battle that we're in.
Yeah, and look, if I didn't have the Lord, Mark, man, I tell you what, I'd be a savage. I'd have gone straight there.
I'm with you.
And I'd have made a list, but I didn't make a list. Jeff said Joe's own board voted him out. It's true. They did. My own board voted me out. Majority shareholder, and I got voted out. And because I'm a person of integrity, I allowed them to vote me out. Because I figured that I needed to do a double check. I needed to check myself. I needed to be introspective. And then they basically did what T-Wux says, which is they tried to screw me, and they did. And so I got rid of them, all of them, and took it back. Said, all right, now we're going to do it my way. We had some success doing it. All right, so can we talk about the fact that left is eating themselves? Mark, do you have time for this?
I've got about 5 minutes, and yes, absolutely. I love it when they eat themselves.
Bill Maher, he called for something to happen. You're not even going to believe this. And people are now trying to eat him. And he's a leftist. Let's play it.
The heads of NPR and PBS testified before Congress this week amid accusations of liberal bias. Should the government continue to send taxpayer dollars to public broadcasters? Well, a little background here. I mean, they've been after them the Republicans have wanted to get rid of PBS for as long as I can remember. This crowd will probably do it. I mean, I also read my namesake, Catherine Marr, was head of NPR, and she said, we're completely unbiased. Give me a break, lady. I mean, they're crazy far left. So, I mean, I think we're past the age, really, where the government, first of all, why do we need to subsidize? Why can't we have outlets like this? And we're so polarized. These outlets became popular at a time when Republicans and Democrats didn't hate each other and weren't at each other's throats and didn't think each other was an existential threat. In that world, you can't have places like this, I think, anymore. They have to be private.
God bless people that are finally opening their eyes. Even Bill.
And he is speaking truth, and that wasn't April Fool's either. It was yesterday. And then Jasmine Crockett she's making some good points here. I want you to hear this. This is Jasmine Crockett being intelligent. Let's play it.
The problem that we have right now is that if we continue down this road, then we will not have a rule of law, because we have people that are currently serving and they're saying things like, ignore the judge's order. What it means to have law and order in this country is that you follow the order and you go through the appeals process, even if you dislike what the judge did. Thank you, and I yield.
And I'll yield back to Mr. Issa. Mr. Issa, you had a question for me, which I'll yield to you now if you want to.
Now that there's no time left. Thanks, Eric.
I'm entertain it.
You're good. You're good at that, but I'll take my own time. I'll recognize myself. And I'm going to note that when Miss Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC as we know her, filed articles of impeachment on Justice Thomas and Alito, Ms. Crockett was one of the co-sponsors along with Mr. Cohen, both members of this committee. It does seem interesting that when the shoe is on the other foot, everyone is self-righteous. And I think this is a good example. For the last 3 hours, I have had to listen to one side talking about impeachment as though it was the nature of this hearing. It is not.
Schooled. And she said you should go through the appeals process. Mark, how expensive is it to actually get justice in the appeals process?
It's incredibly expensive, and it's out of the reach of most people. So it doesn't matter what it is. The process is the punishment.
And if you do spend the money, you have to give up many times everything that you've worked your entire life to put in a bank account, because they've made it out of reach, and they know it. And so they put shit judges, complete shit judges, some of the most terrible human beings that literally deserve what I cannot say on this podcast. And they put those in positions of trust and authority, and they just act with impunity and do whatever they want, act like they are elitist serfs. They can do whatever they want. They can just, that they get to treat us any way they want. And then if you don't like it, you just go through the legal process, which, by the way, Crockett can just walk right past. Walk right past. The last thing I'll say about this,
rigged.
It is totally rigged. And it's rigged everywhere. And now that we know it's rigged.
Everywhere to everyone. It's rigged against every single American citizen on all sides. And we have to stop fighting with each other. We have to stop allowing them to play this manufactured division upon us, start uniting, and fix our elections. It's that simple.
All right. So I just want to play this truly retarded. The I Find Retards has not found this one yet, but Kyle found this one, Kyle Seraphin. So I want you to hear directly from this person's mouth. And then what I said is this, and it's what's Kyle said.
Hey, real quick, before that, I got to run because I got another podcast in like 2 minutes. I got to jump on. So I want to thank you. Thank everyone.
Oh, it was good.
Catch
We'll
you
do it
next
again.
time.
All right, late.
All right, sounds good, man. See you later.
All right. So I'll play this and then I'll let you guys listen to Raul and then have questions ready for me tomorrow. And then I want to get the phones up and running, Apollo. And we'll take some phone calls on what we're talking about related to the election fraud that came out of Romania that was directly tied to Serbia. If you want to know what's happening in Serbia, that's where Dominion has all of their coders, and also where Roaming Networks built a server center for them that was financed by China. So it all ties back to really bad players, and they just move kind of chess pieces on and off the table and make it impossible. No background checks on anybody that works for Dominion, by the way, writing your election software. None. And by the way, I want you to know that Eric Coomer and others were on calls with people at CISA and government agencies. So they were a pseudo government agency acting to do a public good. And then they went out and sued everyone for defamation, which in essence, you're not allowed to do when you're acting as a government agency. It's the same thing they did with NGOs to make themselves untouchable. The fact that lawyers haven't done that says more about the lawyers than it does about anybody else. But I want to play this really quick, and then you'll be able to hear from Raul. Let's go and play it.
Destruction of property is a perfectly viable source of protest. No harming humans, obviously. Yeah. Human life is sacred no matter whose it is. But property these are just things. These are just cars.
Yeah, so let me just tell you something. If you touch my property, if you want to destroy your own property, if you want to go buy a Tesla and then destroy it, you can. But if you touch my property, I get to touch you back. Okay. And not in a way, like I might just take your arms off you and beat you with your own arms. And I just want to take a moment and say this wholeheartedly, to Matt Wallace. I love you, Matt. You're such a cool guy. I really think you're amazing. But Matt challenged me to basketball, Apollo.
Hello? I heard about this.
Did you hear about this?
I did.
So Matt, we were sitting in my conference room and Matt goes, "Oh yeah, I'm a really good basketball player." And I was like, "You think you can beat me in basketball?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Absolutely." He said, and I was like, "Bro, I will crush you. I will not beat you. I will crush you." Now, Matt is one of the top influencers on X. He is one of the nicest young men that I've ever met. He is a father and a husband, and he is an amazing husband. I got to see him with his kids and his wife, and he is amazing. He is not going to beat me in basketball, just so we're clear. So then he's like, "Well, let's go play right now." And I was like, "Yeah, I can't." He goes, "Oh, yeah, that figures." I was like, "We'll play tomorrow at 10 o'clock. That was Saturday. I did get bragging rights, did I not, Apollo?
I believe, yeah. I believe that was explicitly part of it.
So I got bragging rights. And in the bragging rights, I was like, "Listen, he's like he's 27 or something. He's like really young. He should have crushed me." Oh no. I always like to say I'm a has-been with a little bit of fire. I beat him 21-7 first game. And then I was up 16-0. And I felt really bad. I felt like I was breaking the spirit on the second game. So I was like, "Oh, I'll let him shoot a little bit." Yeah, there it is right there. Matt, this is what Matt said. "I think I could take you in basketball." Me, "Yeah, not a chance." Matt, "Let's go play and find out." Me, "Okay." The first game I beat him. Matt, I love you. We're going to go play again. But it's motivation because he's out there. He's like working hard. So I beat him 21-7 the first game, 21-9 the second game. So I was letting him shoot, and he was having some shots and doing some stuff. And then he got cocky. It was 16-9. And he had that look, and I looked at him, and I was like, I always play with my food, but I'm done playing with my food. And I scored 5 shots, boom, like that. Finished him off 21-9. Apollo was awesome.
Yeah, awesome. I'm kind of sad I missed that one. I would have liked to witness.
Yeah, so we'll play again. I think that's Matt calling me right now saying, "Hey, don't call me out on the podcast." All right, we're going to let you watch Raul. I know that we went a little bit long today. Thanks for sticking with me. Sorry I was late. And Nuke says, so does that prove that Joe is not fat? No, I'm not fat. I'm not fat. Now, here's just so you guys understand what I'm dealing with. I gave up drinking about six months ago completely. I wasn't an alcoholic. I just felt like I needed to feel better. And my doctor, because I was poisoned in December of 2021, so was Apollo. And it wrecked my system, wrecked it. I had to take antibiotics. What was it that we had to take, Apollo? Doxycycline for 90 days. And I'm talking about a high dose of doxycycline. It completely wrecks your intestinal system.
Yeah, I would not recommend that to anybody who wants to play around with it.
And it was so bad that I actually thought, I thought they were going to have to cut out all my intestines. It was crazy. Doctor's like, yeah, you've done a lot of damage. And I've been able to get that back. And there's this thing called, what's it called? Flora or something that you have in your intestinal system.
Yeah, your gut flora.
And so what happened is the walls of my stomach separated. And I got 3 hernias and went through a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm telling you guys stuff that is not HIPAA compliant. But the reason why I'm saying, and Apollo went through this. When I first met Apollo was in fighter shape. I mean, he's still semi in fighter shape. He still keeps himself, but he is a small part of what he was. Would you say that, Apollo, as far as size?
Oh yeah, I'm still down like at least. Yeah, I'm down 40 pounds still. I actually started. I've lifted again a few times in the last week, and it hurts a lot.
Yeah.
But there were times when I was still staying at your place. I would go and I'd go to the gym because I'm like, man, I'm losing a lot of weight, and I couldn't eat, and weight just dropped off me like the first 6 months. And I would go do like a warm up set, and I was in good shape. I had a lot of stamina and I had a lot of work capacity. I would get through one warm-up set and I would feel like I was going to pass out. I had to sit down like with the bar. It was really bad. And I've not really recovered from that still.
Yeah. It was bad. I mean, Apollo was really bad. And there was like a year there that he just wasn't right. So anyway, I gave up drinking, did all that stuff. And the reason I bring that up is because, I had people send powder to my house through the mail. We've been poisoned. Apollo happened to be there with me at the event. He was poisoned. Other people were poisoned. 2 people died. One, Kuzma. They said, it was Doug Kuzma. They said it was COVID. They gave him a test. He didn't have COVID. I tried to get his daughter to give him doxycycline. I got a doctor to call and say he'd been poisoned. Like, I was going to put him on the ventilator. I said, what difference does it make? He's on the ventilator. Just put him on this antibiotic, he'll recover. No, we're not going to do it. And so he died. And so when I get angry on this podcast, and I get angry because they shadow ban me and do all this stuff, it's because you can tell me that you're on our side. But if you can look at me and tell me that what I'm saying is not true, if you can tell me that I didn't get poisoned, you tell me you can beat me in basketball. I'm still a really good athlete. And even though I'm older. And someone must have Booper Joe in the mouth, Bob Joe in the mouth with an infection, fuzzy microphone. What? Clot shot or poison? It was poison. It was a derivative of anthrax. And I talked about it right after I got the blood test. Right, Apollo? And then they called me and said, you need to tell everyone that you didn't get poisoned.
Yeah, people from Clay said they were, I understand the optics for Clay because it happened at his event. And there were others who, I mean, Bollinger was on here just recently. She said the same thing happened to her.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, no, like we're not going to say that, bro. You know, I think it was Clay himself, and then a few other people said you got to take that back. And then the news said that you were just making up for clicks, like you did with election fraud.
Yeah.
Because good people.
Yeah, because that's what I did. And I mean, look, you can go back and look at me in 2020, and then look at me today. Like it's taken me 4 years to get back. 4 years. And these people have done relentless things to me. Now I'm just way more careful. Like I'm careful who I talk to, who I'm around, who's around me. Almost you could say I'm paranoid a little bit for good measure. Anyway, I'm going to pray us out. Apollo, you stay on here with me. And then I want you to hear Raul in his own words. I think it's 50 minutes.
It's just under an hour.
And we'll talk a little bit more. We have all the documentation too. Like I have all the documentation related to this. I actually have the Social Security numbers. I have actual Social Security numbers that he has. Like all the documentation related to this. Paper documentation. And we proved it. Not one person came for it. We tried to give it to everybody. Not one person. They had no interest. And what was said to me is that there's nowhere to take it, Joe. They own everything. The DOJ, they own the AG's office, they own it all. Like you can't take it somewhere because they won't do anything with it. So I'm hoping that maybe someone opens their eyes and recognizing that it's our own intelligence apparatus that actually created this coup in our country. And whoever is pulling the strings with, Barr and all the people in the Secretary of State, what's his face? I don't remember his name. That I was supposed to meet with. What was his name?
Pompeo,
yeah. Who's the one that's signaling all this stuff? Who is it? Who is it exactly that is stealing America from Americans? That's interesting. Let's just pray it out, shall we? Play it at 1.25 speed. You can just come back and watch it.
Yeah, just go
Anna
away
Perez
for
is doing
like
good.
20 minutes, and then you can come back and watch it at 1.25 speed.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Actually, can I take like 90 seconds and play video? Yeah. Just because we're talking about like all the threats on lives.
Yeah.
This happened in Michigan.
Yeah, I saw that. I just didn't understand what was written.
Yeah, I'll shoot. Just so everyone listen to this guy real quick.
All right, get you caught up on some news now. A young man accused of making a threat to a Grosse Pointe school board member during last night's meeting. Take a look.
Fortunate for you, I'm no Luigi, but to some disgruntled teen with his or her father's pistol or rifle, any of the other things you prefer in schools other than rainbow flags, you might be a Brian Thompson. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You don't always have your life threatened right here. And that guy, Ian Seaman, he absolutely just did threaten my life. And, for my exercising representative government and democracy and First Amendment, that's pretty disconcerting.
It's unacceptable to make thinly veiled threats to anybody, regardless of status. And that's unacceptable.
I'm really taken aback by what just happened at that microphone regarding a person and a public servant. And I would hope that all of you, regardless of your opinions, realize we are people first. And that was completely scary. And I'm shocked that it's not being addressed differently, quite frankly, at this board, and that we've overlooked that, because it was really hard for me to focus on anything but that, because that could be any one of us.
Now, you heard the man wearing a backpack making a reference to Luigi Mangione, the man accused of murdering former United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The speaker walking off to some applause. Police were there at the meeting. It is not clear what happened as a result of those comments.
So that guy, first of all, he's making everybody really nervous because he had his backpack. My mother was at that meeting. So this guy, Sean, is on the school board. He's been targeted heavily. And that threat is actually very specific to him because his family actually bought a failing healthcare company years ago and then sold it for billions of dollars. And earlier in his comments, he mentioned you shouldn't be threatening people in the community, things like that, which is another target of Sean because he, a few years ago, bought another failing company, which was the Grosse Pointe newspaper. And he's conservative, so of course they hate him. And they had a lot of issues because they were calling out issues with the budget in the school district. He, as well as my mother and other school districts, have had nails put in their tires, or screws put in their tires in their driveway multiple times. Almost caused my father to have a serious accident. Powder sent to them in the mail as well. The U.S. Postal Service, FBI, both investigated. FBI didn't get back to him. Sound familiar?
Sounds
I know,
really
right?
familiar.
Yeah. They have had groups show up, threaten him, groups that are allegedly involved in trafficking children as well. And the issue that this guy is raising is because he's in this tiff with the Grosse Pointe Woods city, because he has a bunch of signs in his yard that are explicit and talk about being on the side with the vag, and it's all about trans rights and very heavy left-leaning political stuff. And it's right down the street from a school where kids walk every day. And so the parents are upset, and people in the community are upset that he's posting all this stuff in his lawn where all their young children are walking. This is a middle school, or I think it's actually an elementary school, Monteith. And so this guy gets up there, and you hear they applaud. Like, this is like what happens when you have these people who come in. You talk about the poison earlier. Like, you have very, very similar things going on in the community right there. And so I just want to say, number one, to my mom, if you hear this later, I love you. And she's, for all of you listening, I don't really talk about this much, but she's been targeted and threatened a lot. You just tell
me when I need to go up there.
Oh, it's been close a few times. She had screws in her tires 4 or 5 times. One of the times it could have killed both her and my father. She got powder. FBI never responded to her either. Sean's had numerous death threats. People come to the house. One of the other school board members had some strange dude show up.
Let's get him on.
Looking at their 13-year-old daughter in the window.
Let's get him on here. Let's get Sean on here. I'm gonna let your mom step off the stage for politics, because she's actually asked to step off the stage for politics.
No, that's fine. It's not about her, but that was a decide, because for all you who know my mother, some of you have met her. But Sean is an amazing dude. That guy he pours tons of money into the school district, tons of money. I mean, he does like big donations to help people get scholarships and help students. And he's poured a ton of money into the school systems and into the community. And these people are all targeting him. And you have this wacko who gets up on stage and threatens his life. And then you have people actually in the audience clap. I mean, this is what happens when you have these cancerous groups come in. So sorry for my tangent there.
No, that's not a tangent at all. That's the reality. We got to work that problem. And I want more information on this Ian guy. I want to put him on blast. Find out why they haven't arrested him yet.
Yeah, unfortunate. Well, he might be. There's some of the.
But he works there,
I've
right?
heard that,
He works there.
He just moved to the community. He just moved into the community.
Apollo, we have pictures of the yard that he has all the stuff in. Let's do a dossier on that guy. Oh yeah, there we go. That's his yard?
Yeah.
What does it say? We back the
vag.
Who is this freak? I will aid and abet abortion. We no longer have a difference in opinion. We have a difference in morality. You're right. You don't have any morals. Go up. Down, sorry. Yeah. Injustice. Okay. You're in a cult. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. You vote for slashing Medicare, and Social Security. Well, that never happened either. See, these people just lie. And the problem, this is why, by the way, Apollo, this is why they should, in my opinion, they should make it illegal for politicians to lie to their constituents. It should be illegal, right? You shouldn't be able to lie. You shouldn't be able to say stuff like that they're cutting Social Security when they're not. You shouldn't. It should be a crime. It's like committing treason because you're leading people off a cliff. You're lying to them. It's okay to say that you have a difference of opinion, but you shouldn't be able to lie to people. It should be a crime, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still legal to propagandize the American people. So, I mean, I would love if that were fixed. At least Musk did mention that recently.
Smith Modernization Act.
Yeah, under the ADA.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people, these are Soros operatives. I mean, I believe most of them are paid to be there.
It's pretty crazy. It's really, really crazy. All right, let's pray it out, shall we?
Yeah.
Whew. Father God, we bring it all to you, Father. We are grateful for the gifts that you've given us. We're grateful for the ability to work the problem. We're grateful for the path that you put in front of us. We're grateful for our brothers and sisters that stand shoulder to shoulder with us in solidarity for the truth. And Father, we are grateful that you gave us an opportunity in November to right the ship. We also recognize that there's still a lot of work to do, and that things weren't fixed when the apparatus itself is so rotted to the core and so infiltrated with evil. So, Father, I just ask you to give us the ability to fight against this evil, to stand tall against this evil, to have courage and speak up against this evil. Father, I would ask that people in the community be able to be given back their voice individually and collectively. And that it not be about, fame or fortune or any of that, that we could find a consensus in just supporting morality, ethics. And that we can stop these demons from doing these bad things to us in our communities. Father, I ask for grace and I ask for patience to follow whatever it is you want us to do at whatever pace you want it to go at. And you give us, Father, the ability to work the problem with each other, set aside petty differences, have conversations between Democrats, Republicans, and independents about what these fringes are doing. And we know, Father, that if you need bots to get your point across that does not honor you, you shouldn't have to need bots. If it's the reality and it's good, you shouldn't need bots in order to get people to follow you, Father. So I just ask you to stop the grooming of our children, to stop the infestation we have of evil in our communities, and to give us all the tools that we can take care of it and push people to a place where they get held responsible for their bad behavior. And the last thing, Father, I'll say is I just ask you to bless our leaders to give us the ability to stop these fraudulent elections, and that we can hold these people like Scott Pressler accountable for standing in opposition of creating this chaos, so that we can't see the bottom of the barrel and see where that rot lies and what is the root cause. We ask these things, Father, humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
You go to Honor Bound USA, get your stickers, Tina Peter stickers, right here. They have 100 sticker deals and let me just last thing before you actually watch what you're about to watch. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Apple Podcast, Spotify. Did I say all of them? I think I did. If you go there, give us a 5-star review. You can download it, not download it. Watch it there. Share it with your friends. You are the ambassadors of truth. Give us a little thumbs up on the way out. And for all the little clowns that are working for the opposition that are listening to me, I hope you learned something. I hope you learn that we're not going to stop. Like, we're not going to stop until we defeat you evil pieces of garbage. We will not. And whether it's me or someone else that picks up the torch behind me, it doesn't matter. Nobody wants evil to win. And you're soulless individuals that are out there stealing what isn't yours to destroy people's lives. That's got to stop. So give us a thumbs up on the way out. Make sure that you share it. You can text Untamed to 89517 if you want to make sure that we know when we go live. And otherwise, stay tuned for Wayne Root. He comes up next after us. And right now, we'll let you hear Raul. Apollo, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for telling us about your mom. It's important stuff.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. All right, thanks. Take care, guys.
Yes. Okay, hello guys, then let's get it started.
Okay. Morning, gentlemen. Okay, so we already slightly began. Was telling me that all this initially started with online banking fraud and identity theft first. Okay. After that, it's online. Okay. Did you guys catch that?
So yeah, we're getting a little bit of feedback.
Okay, so it started with identity theft, and then it moved to online banking fraud. Okay, we ready to go from there? Okay.
Guys, we don't have too much time. We are in a hurry.
Yep. So, after online banking fraud, what was the next
When the online banking fraud is launched, from the process of the online banking fraud, the victims' identities were used in order to use them as double crimes for the electoral fraud. Because the banks are behind of this shit.
Okay.
So this is a circus, and the banks never wanted to solve this problem because there is an algorithm that I will show you and I will present it in the right moment.
Okay.
That it will prove that from each fraud, the bank is winning and the citizen is paying. They want to hide this shit from 20 years ago.
Okay.
So this is the primary crime. And because of this shit, they need to use the identities in order to secure the next president and the next power in charge in order to cover up everything. So it's all about the money. It's all about the power. They just need to find the right way. And in order to find this way, they have three actors. One, of course, they are the banks. Second, the people in charge, politicians and authorities. And they needed the third actor, who can be the Patsy. That's the hackers.
Yeah, okay. So in our case, with regards to election fraud, Dominion voting system,
Exactly. So through the institution, they recruited the hackers. They favor the hackers, but they took their work and used it as it is. It's simple, like the big picture.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now we need to take it one at a time and indicate or give it to you the right tools in order to verify the story and put it all together.
Which is,
remember, we have 2009,
13 years.
Since 2009.
Since 2009 until now, we have a long way to cover up because everything started in Ukraine as an idea, which was planned in years. Ideea s-a născut în Ucraina în 2009.
The idea got birthed in 2009 in Ukraine.
Și a fost dezvoltată până în 2012 într-o anumită formă.
Tot acolo.
Nu, a fost dezvoltată.
And was developed
in another extended till 2000 and experimented till 2012.
Și din 2012 a început să fie în practică.
And from 2012 started to be used in practice.
Got it?
Understood.
Let's talk about this shit.
Okay, let's talk about this shit.
We need to start with Ukraine.
Okay. Ukraine.
There is a point. There is one thing.
Mai nevoie de asta?
No.
Ce mai
About this aspect, which I will show you now.
Okay.
If I will give you more than it, there is a limit.
Okay.
I will be charged with treason. So for me, it's much easier to show you what I have and point where you can find the rest.
Right, and that for us is a very critical point too. We have some guys who are involved in law enforcement and private investigation work too, as well as attorneys on our team. And it's a fundamental point for us that we don't start off this by breaking the law, because that automatically tosses everything out.
This discussion from today, we need to work on it legally.
Correct.
And take the slow way, the easy way, and the slow way in order to achieve the objective. Because the legal way, it will be the only way we can.
Understood.
So, regarding Ukraine, all I can do, and it's the only thing that I can do regarding Ukraine, it's to. This one should.
Supposed to be destroyed.
This
For official
this cover mission
okay.
back then from Ukraine, and the army should destroy it, but I recover it. These are the results.
You guys see that?
You can picture them. I don't know.
Okay. Let me take a picture real quick.
We need to move fast.
To do. Okay.
Hold on. As you can see, they wanted to destroy.
Correct, which is why they cut the.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in Ukraine back then, it was a military operation.
Okay.
In this military operation.
Hold on. Radio check. It's okay, guys?
Yep.
Hello. I got you.
Okay, we're good.
In this military operation, I will point some of the people who was involved.
Okay.
But the most important person from this mission, and I will give you pictures.
Okay.
Of that guy.
Okay.
It was that Stase guy that I was mentioning on.
Stase in Alaska.
That he began from there, and he is continuing as we speak in the right position. And I was undercover with Homeland Security from London in 2019.
Okay.
In Marriott Hotel Bucharest.
Okay. London DHS, Marriott Hotel Bucharest.
2019.
Correct. Got it.
Probably June.
Okay. Right.
I made pictures for these guys.
Okay.
In order to identify this guy.
Okay.
My mission was accomplished. Was successfully accomplished. What they did with the information, I have no idea. But after this cover-up, illegal cover-up operation, they came to Bucharest and they met me in the embassy, from the embassy in the 16th of July.
16th July. What year? 2019?
Yeah. 1 month after the operation.
2019. Okay.
Regarding this meeting, I will show you the phone number and the person.
You guys screenshot this so I don't have to go out of my phone again. Okay?
Copy. Got it. Did you get it?
In the end, I will give you this file.
Okay.
But we need to discuss it first because if you don't, without me, it's nothing.
Okay.
I'm the glue in this shit.
Okay. And the glue that keeps the pages together.
Yeah. So this is the
How many percent is it?
read this.
Okay. I've got you.
12 July 2019.
12 July 2019, highlighted. I've been there, checked the visitors register on 16 July 2019. Okay. And this is a text message from.
This is my communication between me and the Homeland Security guy.
Okay.
So read it, and we will come back about these messages because there are a lot of messages.
Okay.
But just to make a point.
Okay. Raul, I've got 2 guys from our office and 2 from our NY New York cyber unit coming out with me to meet. Don't want to overwhelm you with too many people, but all have a role and will assess you and your information. I see a number of ways we can work together, but want to stay focused on specifics. Bring what you have available to show, and we'll discuss potential options, but be prepared to be straight with us. Ellipsis, the who, what, when, and where in totality is important for us to make a good judgment. Just want you to be prepared so you aren't caught off guard. This is a native English speaker.
What?
This is definitely American. Okay. Scott C. All my words will be doubled by documents and samples. What I don't have, I will tell where it can be found. Exactly the point. Sounds fair? Yes. However, I may ask you to forget about the past and focus on the future.
Hold on. Regarding this phrase right here, I want to make some completation which is not seen here.
Okay.
On the meeting in the U.S. Embassy, they proposed me to forget about the information which I have regarding the election fraud and the banking and the identity theft.
Okay.
Instead, I will get a Washington, D.C. seat, $1 million in cash, and I can...
Got that? Million?
Yeah. $1 million there in the embassy.
Okay, continue.
Just a second.
Yes.
In this condition, we work up front. Are you okay for us to record also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Or you can share it with me, this one sometime.
Yeah. You guys are recording the video? Or you just you're doing notes? Okay. All right. So we'll share this with you as well. Okay.
So we meet in the embassy. Then the right proposal is like this. One seat in Washington, offered by one of these guys, one of the guys from the New York cyber. I will manage to give you his information, phone number, and everything that I have, but I don't have it with me, everything right now. Okay. I will explain later. I know he is a Greek. He's a native Greek, established in New York. So he's coming from Greece, and he was moved in New York. I cannot remember his name now. I need to look forward to my
Is it similar to Manas Antonikakis?
I don't want to to discuss about something that I cannot remember right now.
Fair enough.
But I will give you his phone number, his US phone number.
Identification.
Yeah, I will give you something about him in order to be identified.
Yeah, that works. Perfect.
And there is a game.
Okay.
Inside the embassy. I don't know what everything means, but I can point some aspects to you.
Okay.
So I met these 4 guys. One is from Homeland Security, from London. This one. I will give you his phone number.
Right. This is the one you were working with when the Marriott Bucharest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He was in charge in order to lead the operation.
Okay.
So I missed this guy, which I knew from the operation, and I knew him from an NSA director from Monaco, 2017. I will give photograph
Okay.
Through this. So through this was done in Monaco by a friend of mine from Monaco and the deputy director of the entity. I cannot tell you his name because I have been lied, of course, but I have photographs with him.
Okay. All right.
So his photo.
Okay. And okay, and this is
the guy who
guy.
Exactly.
Okay. Say director. Monaco Open Channel DHS. Okay.
The reason we did this is because I gave to the NSA director in Monaco a list of NSA agents undercover all over the world, like hacks. And then this, which back then I knew that it will be used in order to fraud the election in 2020.
Okay.
So this was the point to start the discussion with the director, and the director opened this channel to this guy. Why? It's something to find out in the future.
Okay.
So directly they told me, forget about everything.
Focus on the future.
Focus on this kind.
Focused on darknet and marketplaces, intrusion crimes, etc. Darknet. Got it. Okay.
Forget that you told us about what this identity theft it will be.
Okay.
Forget about that and let's work in another way. So they wanted me to give up everything about the past.
Direction.
Okay.
Forget about the past and focus on the future.
Okay.
That's why they will offer me $1 million in order to give up.
Okay.
I need to be honest from the beginning with you. I knew that it is a game. I go there in order to prove something sometimes. I didn't know that we will meet today, but I build it in a way for the future. I didn't know when, I didn't know how, I didn't know why, I just did it.
So hope to be now.
So I need to play a game with them, but never to accept the offer. Yeah, never to accept the offer.
Okay.
After they made me the offer, I refused the money because money was there on the table, and I told them that I will do my best in order to send the details, family details, in order to do the paperwork so I can be transferred in the United States. And this time, because I won this time, I told them, okay, no, thank you.
Okay.
I refused the offer. So this took probably about 2 months from
the starting moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
The starting moment.
So let's say September 2019 it was finished.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go on.
You can read the rest of the test if you want.
Okay. Yes. However, I may ask you to forget about the past and focus on the future. How can we work together on new jobs, etc.? We have authority and you have expertise. We are heavily focused on the darknet and marketplaces, intrusion crimes, etc. How can you be our eyes, ears, and at times our deployed asset, all financially covered in the end? Make sense? Okay.
Understood, right?
Understood.
This is exactly on the day, July 16 on the...
And there's the location.
Yeah, he gave me the location. If you will check this, you will see that it's there.
Okay. Okay.
Make sense?
Yes. Okay.
Taxi to one point, I work around the transfer. And this is after.
Okay, see you soon here. Well, thank you to today. I know it was a lot of talking for you and hard in the second language. Thank you for the hard work. Just realized I didn't take the piece of paper you were writing on and wanted to check some of the names. Can you photograph and send me?
Stop. This is the piece of paper that I will give you in one moment with all their fingerprints and their DNA.
Okay,
I
so
still have it.
and you lied when you told him. You
I told you that I want to play there.
Okay.
I never want to go forward from there because I knew that they will try to make me. It's not my
The
first
scapegoat.
time. Yeah, it's not the first time I'm doing this, and I knew that it's by chance. They will never expect this to do this there.
And you need to be covered.
I need to be. Trebuie să fiu sigur că la un moment dat
You need to have your bases covered.
în adevărata lege.
Yeah, to be sure that at the right time, everything of this will be used in a legal way.
Okay.
In the right justice.
Okay.
In the right.
We say in America, have your bases covered.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on. Where is that?
This is Mike from New York.
Mike from New York. Mike from New York. Okay. What's significant about Mike from New York?
Mike was the one. So Scott, because I will tell you like the names from here.
Okay.
Scott. After the discussion and after I was let myself open to the discussion in order to move to Washington, set me up with this mic. This mic should be doing să-mi pregătească documentația ca să mă mute cu familia mea în Statele Unite.
To get everything ready for he and his family to move to United States.
Okay.
Take care of the setup.
At that point, exactly in this point, somebody from my family was dying, and he died in December. And I was using Discover to win time and to refuse, and because he was very aggressive, send me the documents, send me the documentele, diplomele școlare și astea.
Diplomas and that, school diplomas.
And I was using the context that my family was. I had something done right in that moment. And am reușit să elimin și să resping.
He was able to,
reject his offer. Yeah, his aggressive offer because he wanted to be like this. So regarding the four guys,
okay,
I spoke with each one in group, and because one of them wanted to tell me something
unique.
So one of them, Scott, was for Homeland Security.
Okay.
Was from the cyber crime unit, New York, and the others two, with one, it's a Joe, but of course I cannot believe that his real name. It's an alien. Joe, much forgot, but
sure. Fat with a beard. Got it. Okay.
This one told me that he is from the CIA, city of Vienna.
Vienna, Virginia. That's the home of the top floor.
Europe, yes.
Austria.
Okay. He told me he's a post detașat.
Attaché.
Yeah, attaché to the office from Austria.
Okay.
And the one told me that I don't know any alias, I don't know messages, I just know.
Don't know any.
Okay.
That was the was an expert, economic and banking domain, because
okay. So he was a numbers guy, a finance guy.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. All right.
The last one was very interested. Who else have the identities? How did I put them? If I still have the sources, and any hackers participate to the extraction of the data.
Okay.
I have been straight regarding all the answers. So whatever they done with the answers and with the data, I have no idea.
I think we have a pretty good idea what they did in November 2020.
Well, yeah, 1 year after.
Yeah, exactly.
So this was the meeting from 2019.
Okay.
I will let you read this book.
Okay, right.
So in order to understand, one of one, like here, your embassy have, and I will prove it how they got it, when they got it. I have the tracking numbers, the names, and everything that is needed. I have it with me, which I don't have with me right now. We can do a list, and I can send it after.
We have till 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Get
cracking.
You cannot.
It's a lot.
Change the file.
I think we'll be fine. Let's keep going and just let's one thing at a time. This is important.
Read two.
Okay.
These two.
So my name is Raul Nikolai Coulter, a former external risk analyst in the field of cybersecurity and banking cybersecurity. I make this document available to you and inform you of the following. I am a witness and whistleblower in more than 10 domestic and international cases in favor of the American people. As you can see from the contents of the file, the data is highly sensitive. Due to the fact that starting with 2011, 2015, 2018, 2019, 2020, I notified the criminal actions against American citizens and against American institutions, an abusive case was created for me to be stopped or eliminated. Given that the accusations brought against me are abusive, a Facebook post misinterpreted, they will probably try in other ways to silence or eliminate or discredit me. The law and the Constitution are not respected in my case. I respectfully request an urgent meeting to discuss and present with certain aspects of your country's national security. Along with this aspect, I must inform you and present one of the most important secrets of your country, a secret discovered by foreign entities, a secret that can be useful to every American and global citizen, a secret hidden by certain criminal interests and mathematical banking algorithm. My last visit to the headquarters of the USMC in Bucharest was on 16 July 2019. In the next 2 to 3 days, another abuse is about to be committed against me, which is why I will communicate the following numbers. Personal mobile. If my phone number is locked, it means they acted abusively. Trusted locally contact, just ask about me. That number. Trusted international contact, just ask details about me. Thank you very much for your time. I hope to see you soon. Have a great day. For a fast preview, search the pink and green marked words in the material. Okay.
So did you make a big picture regarding what this thing is?
Yes.
This is the most important thing from everything.
The banking algorithm.
And I have it. I still have it.
We got tech. Can deal with that.
Well, we need to work on this.
Yes,
because it's so simple, but it's so hard to understand.
Okay. And moving on.
So, in 2000, here it is. January 2020, I sent from this sender to U.S. Embassy everything that is here, plus the electronic on DVD.
Receipt, ticket.
On DVD.
An electronic device.
Okay.
DVD, right?
DVD, a CD.
DVD, yeah, a CD to the ambassador, which was there, Adrian Zuckerman.
Yeah, I know that name.
So everything that is here, I sent in January 2020, before the election.
Okay.
And in this content, you will find the direct proof that he was notified. the servers,
Okay.
which was used in order to write the code for Dominion and keep the identities. So this was used by hackers and Daniel Sebastian's companies in order to write the codes on these servers.
Okay. What was that name? Sebastian Gitzer?
Sebastian Gitzer.
Sebastian. S-A-B.
A-S.
No, S-A-B. S-E-B.
S-E-B-R-S-T. Sebastian.
Sebastian.
Last name?
Gitzer. G-H-I-T-A.
A?
Yeah.
Sebastian Gita.
Gita.
Okay.
Gitzer.
Gita. Okay. Okay. So
the FBI already took his servers, but the FBI took his servers in December after the election and took the wrong servers because Gitzer have servers in two countries, in Romania and in Serbia. And the FBI took the servers from Romania.
do you have a specific date in December?
Yeah.
Don't
4th December.
4th?
Yeah.
4th? Not the 5th of December? Okay. 4 December 2020, FBI took the servers in
custody.
In the Romanian servers.
The Romanian servers.
Not the Serbian
Not
ones.
the Serbian ones. And these servers was used from Serbia.
Yeah, Belgrade via 18 via Osman is the address.
Yeah. And
it's the roaming networks. They built out the whole ICT.
This is I wanted to show you that the file that received was sent to the state was holding up this one already sent again in April 2008. Read this.
Please consider also the information I will put at your disposal as a that will take place in the USA in 2020. And this is dated 2018, April 30th, 2018.
First letter to the embassy and first evidence regarding this was sent by in 30
April 2018.
Yeah. I will give you a registered number from this. I need to look it up.
Okay.
I will give you the person, the name of the person who made the
copy,
who was there and take it personally and took the registration.
Oh, the recipient, the receipt.
Yeah, the recipient.
Okay. All right.
Hold on a second.
Not the microphone.
Okay.
The name of the girl who took this in April was Ruxandra.
L-U-X.
From Roxanne.
Roxandra.
R-U-X.
R-U-X.
A-N-D-R-A.
Ruxandra.
Ruxandra Brand.
B-R-A.
G.
D. As in dog.
Broad.
A-U. A as an apple. U.
U.
The first A you put a little hat.
Little hat.
Bread.
Bread.
That's
the same person I used in order to make another drop in 2019.
Okay.
May 1st.
That's the second, right?
Yeah, that was the second drop.
Use to make second drop.
May 1st, 2019.
Okay.
Please be careful about this name. She's a single mother and she doesn't need any kind of programs. I just wanted to let you know in order to verify to the registers.
Does she not want us to contact her at all? Should we just leave her out of it?
For the moment, yes. Let me talk to her first, and after that, I will get back to you. But for the moment, I just wanted to tell you the name.
Okay.
So they knew since 2018 an official way that and how and who are behind this. If you will read,
It was right around the midterms too, which had very odd activity in the 2018 elections as well.
2016.
2018, we have midterm elections. Presidential elections every 4 years, but in our House and the House of Representatives, 2-year terms, and our Senate is 6. So every 2 years, there's an election.
I was in the States at that time.
Oh, well, there you go, man. You know it. Yeah, so just to clarify that. Okay, so that was April 2018. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. What can you tell me about the IDs?
the
Chinese ones? No,
the fourth ones, which is
the ones you gave us. Remember when you guys just flipped through the book just to show us it was this book actually?
no, it wasn't.
Well, it was one of, and we went through
IDs, when you see ID, you are telling me IDs, you mean the identity?
Identity info, anything.
Yeah, these were actual. We found out these are actual people though, like the driver's license, dates of birth, everything.
You have here much more.
All of them. Maybe you can find yours over there.
I made you another.
Okay.
I made you another copy. There are some thousands here.
Okay.
Check them out. But the things are not
perfect.
No, this is perfect. There is another aspect of this shit.
Okay.
After I made the drawings of the identities of Romanian authorities, in about probably I needed 3 years or 4 years since I made jobs. I find out from the people inside this institution that a lot of these identities were sold to the Chinese in order to create fake IDs. That's why I asked you which IDs. Because there are many kind of things.
Okay.
Once it's the electronic way, but there is physical way. So let me show you one full identity in order to understand.
Okay. So all these were sold to China.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the Romanian authorities.
Okay, that's a pretty interesting one.
Yeah, because the deep state is the main bad guy in American fraud.
Which?
Yeah.
Ai ceva cu ID-uri. Zis-o identitate completă.
I should get me one of those.
This is not mine, but I bought one like this from USA. You should get one.
Yeah, I'm joking.
I will tell something else to you.
Okay.
What I wanted to buy before I left, but they played with me and I wasn't able.
Maybe we can get it for you. You know, lots of contacts in America you have now.
RFIDs, detectors.
RFIDs?
Plants and...
Oh, that's some fun stuff, actually.
You got stuff like that?
Like RFID sensors? Yeah.
No,
I mean, you can...
detectors for implants, body implants.
Yeah, you're talking about the
and for anything else in the
it's pretty similar to what we had stuff like that when I was in the military. It's pretty similar to what they use for like airport security.
Okay.
Okay.
You need to protect this sender.
Okay. So protect the messengers on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tracking number right here.
Okay. NT, that's the track number. He also wants the messengers protected. Okay. Yeah, no.
The other one is that.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other one.
Okay.
It's a little bit dusty, but it's all I have.
Okay. I'm taking these with me. No, these are staying with you. Okay.
You will take this with you.
I'll take that with me. Okay. Let me zoom in here.
Yeah, they should be those of the important stuff because the video is sometimes a little bit blurry.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it to you guys. And pull the core. I think we can get away with 1630 here, fellas. I think we can do that. You guys good with that? 1630?
Yeah.
So half an hour more?
Anyway, it's safe for you. It's plenty of
I can run.
Plenty of time now.
I've got some. Okay. Are you guys there?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go for 30 more minutes and I'm going to go full sprint in the airport. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So we got these two. Hey, did you guys get the photos yet? Did it send? Did it relay?
Affirmative.
Okay. Okay. So
I need to find something to show you.
Okay.
In order to make the big picture regarding identity theft, what it really means.
Okay. And just to clarify the numbers, 25 to 50 million US and up to 100 million total.
50 million and more of US. I will say 50 because it's easy for me to prove, but the number is higher.
So it's probably closer to 100 million.
I will not estimate, but it's higher.
And 50 million.
It was 2 drops of 22 million of 20.
Are you still there?
You guys there?
We're back now. A second.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So 2011, 2019, there were 2 drops, all US IDs of 25 million each.
So in 11 and second was in 18, like 18.
2018. Okay. So 2018.
2 drops of 25 million each. Identities, American identities.
Okay. And this
is the phone number for Homeland Security, Scott, London of City of London.
Yeah, +44. Yeah, it's UK. You guys got that? Brendan?
I think we got it in their photo. It's a little blurry.
You guys got it? There. Scott's here. 44.
7, 7, 8, 9, 7.
7.
7,
2, 1, 1, 3, 1.
Only 1, 2, 8, 7, 2. 1, 1.
Yeah. Am I taking this with me? Or are you keeping this?
I will keep this. I can give it to you to make photograph of everything that I have here, no problem.
Okay.
But in order to take step by step, must make it more detailed. Because if I will give you that I need, you might.
You know, Dame, take me one of the time.
So, and besides this, I need to something much more. When we will end the discussion, I will tell you the story of the last 3 or 4 weeks. I need to burn 3 or 4 safe houses because of the misunderstandings. I need to take it from there, pay the rent, give it up, go there, take another rent, give it up, because I was traveling all over the country in order to take this. I will keep this home and make for you. But I still need to do travel, and I still do this in order to.
Okay. Let's not do anything more. But I think
It's plenty for you, but you need to move like Romanian Speedy Gonzalez.
Romanian Speedy Gonzalez. I think this is definitely a good starting point. This is definitely more than enough.
More than stuff.
Yeah.
Everything that is here, I wanted to take it. Vreau să, la momentul potrivit, după ce se vor convinge.
In the right time after you'll check that out to see that's a.
Vreau să iau calendaristic. Încă 2011.
He wants to take it chronologically, starting with 2011
and start from that.
Okay.
Put everything.
Your own checkup. We will ensure that we maintain. You will need days to do
A grand tour, shall we say? Yeah. But this was.
Yes. And you will need a professional translator, not Victor, another translator who can translate
the documents.
Documente judiciare.
The
juridical documents.
Judicial.
Judicial documents.
You need a good translator for this, because I know this much, but we need this much.
Okay.
So in order to set up the right team, include this translator in team. It's most necessary thing in the aspect in order for you to understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's a little bit complicated, but it's not impossible.
Okay.
I'm still looking for that because it's very important.
So,
as you can see, in 2013, this piece of paper was signed by me with this name.
Darren White, Secret Service, correct?
Okay, let me show you what this I need to link to something.
Okay. Darren White.
Okay, I found the first one. When I'm telling you identity theft, I need you to have this picture in the mind of all 50 millions of them.
The way I see it, these are whole people that just don't. These are, the way I envision it, the way you say it, is it's a person without a body.
Yeah.
These are people who exist.
It's your identity. I go in your name everywhere, electronically vote.
This is one full identity stolen. So take a look of everything.
You guys see this?
And besides this, I have email access, computer access, and phone banking password on the phone.
Okay.
So you are fucked up if I have something like this.
ATM pin. ATM pin.
Considering people from a very high important institution.
Well, he didn't see this yet.
Okay. So
you can keep this.
I can? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Put it over there.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Target link domains. Jim Comey, former FBI director.
So,
And this is very interesting because some of these people, these players, they're very familiar to us in the context of current
They have been blackmailed since 2012.
So James Comey is being blackmailed, or is he blackmailing people?
Both.
Both. Okay.
And it's not just the FBI. It's the army too.
The army too.
Hold on. Langley.
Langley? No. Okay, no. This is not Langley, CIA. This is Langley Air Force Base, which is owned by the first fire.
It's the same shit. Yeah. Internally, it's the same shit.
Well, I'm just saying because geographically, they're two locations. But, I mean, I guess that's just nitpicking.
So, take a look at this. How many FBI agents have been blackmailed?
These are everyone who's being blackmailed.
Yeah. Since 2012. I will give it everything. It's up to you what you will do with the information, but it's not all.
Okay.
I will bring you... Se pune la dispoziție într-o formă data viitoare agenții NSA sub acoperire din întreaga lume.
Da.
Mulți din întreaga lume.
Next time, he's gonna find the right way to give you guys the NSA agents from most of them under the cover.
Under cover
in this state.
Okay.
And they have public funcții publice totuși fotovoltaice.
They have public. They are under the cover, so they are under the cover in different public positions.
Okay, so clandestine service. Okay.
It's a big.
Sounds like it. I mean, you can need a lot of paper to
It's
clean this
over
up.
all your American spy movies you've seen by now.
You know, there is a theory that Hollywood is just a projection of reality.
Yeah. That lower projection of the little things.
Yeah. I mean, with this, you know, maybe Skynet's not so far off now from Terminator. Okay, so
I wanted to give you more.
I think it's also smart that we really just separate what we need to separate for bare minimum. And as a practical matter, in case like they stop me at the airport or something, you know, have as little as possible. Not that they would. I keep a very low profile. I don't know. This is the way my mind thinks. My mind thinks in worst case scenarios.
I don't want to give you any hopes in this moment. You asked me about Biden's accounts. I can give you a point to start.
For Biden's accounts. Do tell.
I will show you. Let me find it.
Okay.
Remember, it's a point to start.
A starting point.
Okay.
And what you will find there regarding Biden's accounts, we will check it when we finish.
Okay.
You will make your own investigation. I will show you my results.
Okay.
And you will understand much more after that.
No, I say it because my brain thinks as worst case scenarios, and that's just really kind of something that harkens back to my military training.
Caut extrasele de cont al Soros.
Can't find it.
Numărul de cont al Soros.
Why? No. Okay.
Hold on.
No problem. And there's not much that really surprises me anymore.
Imagine, for you, it's so too much, but for Joe, he's just a good guy with, any high high normal mind is fucking blow.
Yeah.
And either as a specialist, you know.
I mean, the Halliburton Dick Cheney oil in Iraq was no secret.
You need one photo of this, like this.
Another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's exactly like this. And here it's Soros who's getting money and sending money to.
It's Soros? So Soros is sending.
I have Soros account and his
it's a banking
statement. Soros owing.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, so Soros accounts from Open Society going back to 1994, correct?
1997.
1997.
So
that's his later.
Starting from this account number, in this account number, I will need to get you the bank statements, which have connections with Biden since starting 2015 to 2020, so 5 years.
So Soros has been bankrolling Biden for 5 years.
But they are making transactions for back and forward. It's not just one direction.
One way.
Okay.
And Hunter Biden's bank accounts from Ukraine, it's also tied to this account.
So Soros is the island.
I don't know which position have in this combination, but he is there. So you need to start from here.
Okay.
From this account number.
Okay. Am I taking this paper with me, or do you need this?
Take it.
I take it. Okay. No, do you need it?
Hold on a second. Let me see. Not to be something that is not.
Vrei să fac copii around?
It's okay. You can take it.
Okay. Perfect. Take a pic of that. Okay, so. All right. Do you guys have any questions? We're cutting it kind of close here. I mean, do we? Are you comfortable enough saying we're at a good starting point
You
now?
have much more. Yeah.
Okay, so
we will need to extend it from here.
Okay.
And I told you that I need to tell you something privately.
Okay.
You got the right person in this shit, but you took the wrong chair.
Joe came to me.
I just telling you.
Yeah.
You need to ask some questions.
Okay. All right. Can do. All right, guys. So I'm going to cut it here. I'll ping you guys when I'm back over at the airport. All right.
So we got 15 more minutes.
You guys want?
It's 15.
It's okay. We will discuss something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can
All right.
talk offline.
All right.
All right. I'll ping you guys in a little bit.